Hey, what's the deal, people? It's your boy Big Star Raw Sports here, man. RawSports.tv is the website. If you're not familiar, the YouTube channel is Raw Sports Films on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where you can find all the past Legends Week interviews. After I film them, I upload them to YouTube. You can find all the past interviews there, as well as all types of other content on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this tonight, if you're not following the Instagram page, make sure you follow the Instagram page, man. And share. One thing that I would love for you guys to do, as far as helping me out, share this live video. That's something that we can all do to kind of increase the audience, kind of spread the word about the interviews. Share. Hit the share link if it's some way to do that. Share this live, man. That would be really appreciated. Also, if anybody's on Twitter, you can follow the whole Raw Sports movement on Twitter as well at Big Star Raw Sport. Just want to say, man, tonight, you guys are in for a treat, man. Thank you for everybody that's been tuning in, man. I see my little bro, Maurice Allen, Norristown Finest. I see you, Playboy. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's tuning in to the whole Legends Week series, man, as if this is like something on Netflix or something like that, man. I guarantee, man, all week I've had in my gut, this is going to be one of those nights, man. Like the same feeling I got when I interviewed Flip Murray or Mark Jackson, Donnie Carr, Sean Colson, my man Ray Carroll the other night. Like tonight is going to be one of those nights, man. This is one of those guys that, he's one of your favorite legends. You know what I'm saying? To kind of put it in perspective, man. Kareem, Rab, Towns. Me trying to sit here and read his resume or say any give him any accolades or anything like that, wouldn't do it any justice, man. So I'm gonna just, once he gets on, he's going to tell his own story and all that kind of stuff. But just an amazing talent, man. Just insane, man. Just want to, also take the time real quick to thank all the past guests for Legends Week, man. Each week. The momentum is continuing to go, man. We're not losing any steam. More and more legends are coming out of the woodwork. It's been a blessing, man. What else? If anyone's not familiar with the Legends Week series format, my man, he's gonna get on. We're gonna have a quick round of 10 random questions. I'm gonna just throw 10 random things at my man, and then he's gonna get into telling his story. And at the very end, you guys start. I guess what I'll do is, if you guys want to just, start, asking questions during the interview, I'll just jot them down. I won't, if it's something that goes with the flow of the interview, I'll ask it. But if it doesn't, I'll just jot it down. And at the very end, we're going to have, just open it up to the people. For anybody that stays tuned in, I'll let you guys have a nice little Q&A, directly, with you guys, directly with Kareem, Rab, Towns, so we can go back and forth and, answer y'all questions directly. So real quick, when I posted the flyer for this interview on Instagram and Facebook, I got some pretty cool comments, man. So I figured, while we wait for Rab to jump on, what up, OC Chamberlain? Appreciate all y'all tuned in, man. So on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, some pretty cool comments people were leaving about Rab. So I just want to, read some of these comments real quick while we wait for Rab to join us. My man Ray Carroll, another legend we just had on, he said, wow, salute to one of the best guards I've ever laid eyes on. Oh, here we go. It's about to go down. Rab's in the building. The legend.
What's up?
I'm blessed by the best, Rab. How you doing, big dog? What's good, man?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I can't complain at all.
No doubt. Hey, just want to let you know real quick. I just got a feeling, Rab, that tonight's gonna be one of those nights, man. I just got a feeling that the hoop gods are gonna be with us, man. That the shockwaves of this conversation are gonna go out amongst the counties, amongst the boroughs, amongst the city, everybody. All the hoop heads across the country, man, their ears are going to be ringing tonight, man. All the energy is right here with us right now with Kareem Rab Towns, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me tonight, man.
No doubt, no doubt, man. I appreciate you having me on.
For sure, for sure. Real quick, just want to go over the format real quick, man. We're gonna we're gonna play a quick game of 10 random questions. You know, before you get into your story. At the very end, I'm gonna just let you dialogue with the people and allow you to have a little Q&A with the people. You know, a lot of people ask you some
Okay.
questions directly. If Instagram, if we come up on our first hour, we'll just close this one out, save it, and then we'll just come right back and we'll kind of pick up right right where we left off.
That's cool.
All right. Hey, so we're gonna jump right into it, man. Because I got a lot of ground I want to cover, a lot of things I want to talk about, man.
All right.
Quick game of 10 random questions. I'm gonna just shoot 10 random things at you just to kind of get us warmed up. All right.
All right.
All right. So coming up in the 80s or whatever your era was, your favorite cartoon or TV show growing up?
Fat Albert. Fat Albert and probably Spider-Man.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Most points you ever scored in the game at any level? I'm talking summer league, high school, college, anything you remember. Most points.
I scored 73, but I scored over 50 pretty much everywhere I played
No,
on numerous occasions.
no doubt. So half a man was that was your average. That was nothing.
Right. It was a good day.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Back in your era, so you were class of 91.
Yeah.
All right, so like all throughout the 80s and all that kind of stuff, when you was playing ball in high school and summer leagues, what was the sneaker of choice back then? Like if you could have went with one sneaker your entire career, what was your favorite shoe back then to ball in?
Definitely Nike, man. Like Air Force Ones, High Tops, or David Robinsons, anything with a stripe on Nike was it.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, two-part question. If you notice nowadays, the sneaker, remember back in the day, it was all about ankle support, having highs, a shoe that came up high, you lace it high for the ankle support. Nowadays, it's pretty much like they playing in track sneakers, no ankle support, they real low. What are your thoughts about that, man? And could you have done that back then?
No, I always played the high tops. It's like it would be rare for me to play in some low tops. I mean, if I was shooting around or messing around, only person I know played in low tops. They played in like low top Reeboks. Was my man Cheese Myers. He would play in them no matter what.
Got you.
But nah, not me. I needed some support. I ain't want to mess my ankles up.
I know that's right. I can dig that. In your era in the 80s, who was your favorite rapper back then?
Oh, in the 80s. I like NWA. I like Boogie Down Production, BDP.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But besides yourself, whether it's one of your peers or somebody a couple years older, who are some of the guys that you looked up to? Just throw out a couple names, guys that kind of inspired you when you were coming up, when you weren't quite yourself yet, guys that inspired you.
Oh, well, I'm gonna give you a quick 30 seconds.
Okay.
Nate Blackwell, Lionel Simmons, guy named Mike Morris, Melvin Hawkins, Sauce, Lou Myers, guy named Ski Bop Burrell, Daoud Bey, Point Forward Deluxe, my man Habib, Chili Yak, Jody Johnson, definitely Jody Johnson, and my man Dog, Grant Coleman from 17th Street. Those are some guys that every time I saw them play, it was like, I was amazed.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate that, appreciate that. What were some other sports besides basketball that you played coming up?
Oh, I played football. I thought I was going to be Jerry Rice, one of the best wide receivers ever, until I broke my collarbone on the concrete. My mom was like, "Listen, either you gonna play basketball, or you play football." I'm like, "I'd rather play basketball."
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Throughout all your levels, summer league, college, high school, everything, who's one of the toughest players you had to guard? Somebody that, although you were Rab Towns, but somebody who gave you, definitely a run for your money.
Shit. Man, it wasn't just one. It was quite a few guys that was tough. Pooh Allen was tough. Aaron McKee was tough. When I went to camp, probably like Damon Stoudemire. And if I was the current guys, I would probably say somebody like my young boy Sheed Bay, young boy Flip Murray. Those dudes got real crafty and real tough. Even Alvin, definitely Alvin. I forgot all about Alvin. And it's
No doubt.
crazy how I met Alvin. I met Alvin. I was dealing with some girl that lived around the corner from me, and she kept telling me about, she's like, this guy want to meet you. He's my neighbor. Ada. So one day I go to her house, and here come Alvin. I remember Alvin was probably like in, I want to say about 9th grade. Little guy, but he was always thorough. So, you know, from that point on, me and him been super tough. But Alvin's super tough. He was a hard guy to guard too.
No doubt. That's what's up. Is Rab a nickname or a middle name?
Yeah.
Short for something?
No.
Tell me about the history of Rab. Where'd that come from?
My middle name Jamal, but Rab came from my grandfather, and like it's like two definitions to it. Like my grandfather said I used to run around like a rabbit. So instead of calling me Rabbit, they cut it short. But then when I started playing ball in the street, it was like people started saying I was like a magician with the ball. So it was like, you know how the magician put the rabbit up, pull the rabbit out of the hat. So that's where it came from.
Okay, got you. That totally makes sense. I appreciate that history right there. Who is your favorite NBA player coming up?
Isaiah Thomas. That's why I wore number 11.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
Isaiah Thomas.
No doubt. Last question of the 10 random questions. What are your thoughts about, just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts about the James Harden, you know, step back? You know what I mean? That kind of step back thing that once the step back was introduced, it just like, you know, took over as far as the younger population. And is that step back a move? Even the ones that look like clear travel, just, you know, the step back phenomenon. And is that something that you would have added to your repertoire?
In all honesty, I didn't even need it because I knew how to. I was blowing past guys, like, you know, setting them up with moves and going right or left. I mean, the James Harden thing is I guess is great for the new era. I mean, it really ain't my cup of tea because sometimes even with the move, he dribbling the ball too much. He holding the ball too much. The shot clock running down. Like, and then after a while, you got players just sitting and watching him. So. I mean, it works, but I mean, he used it too much.
Gotcha.
That's just my opinion.
Gotcha. All right, well, that's 10 random questions, man. We're gonna get right into it. Two things I want to mention before we get into it. You know, something I mentioned to you over the phone when we first talked. Two of my goals, man. I always like to let the legends know the goals and what we're doing here, man. This is, you know, my contribution to helping to solidify your legacy, man. This is my thank you. This is my giving you the flowers while you're here. I never want anybody to forget about Kareem Rab Towns if I have anything to do with it. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that.
Were there, I don't want them to forget. And also, too, the second part is this current generation that are out there, you know, doing their thing. I want them to be able to know who came before them, guys that paved the way, guys that laid the foundation. So when they see you, they'll shake your hand, look you in the eye, and say thank you themselves. I don't want the younger generation to be naive and not know, you know, who they're in the presence of. So thank you, man. That's what we're doing here at Legends Week.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna get right into it, man. I'm gonna just let you tell your story, and I'll interject as I need to with some questions if I need to. But just give you freedom, man. So just reintroduce yourself to the people, and just let us know. Just start us off by just telling us where the Kareem Rab Towns story begins, man.
Well, my name's Kareem Jamal Towns. My story starts in South Philly. I started playing ball when I was probably like 6 years old, and I went to George Smith Elementary School on 19th and Wharton in South Philly, and like that's where it all started for me. Like I had a great elementary school career. I mean, I was averaging like 30 points in 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah, crazy.
And the thing was,
it was always buckets. Huh?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is just it started with me knowing how to dribble. Like, you know, I taught myself really how to dribble. Like, I would sit in the basement for hours just dribbling the basketball. Then when it got to the point I started challenging myself, I started dribbling with a tennis ball. Then I started cutting the lights out, and I'm dribbling, and it's like my mom is like going bananas upstairs. Like, listen, man, save some for tomorrow. Like, you know, like every day is the same thing consistently. And then like my mom lived on this little block called Garrett Street. And like most of the time I would be on the block playing on the crates. Till like one day this guy named Mike Morris came by, he saw me playing, and he was like, look, man, this court's up around the corner in the park. Come through the park. So I go around there, it's a whole court crate. like crates on these big trees. Now anybody who know me know that's where I originally started at. So I'm over the park and I'm toning my skills. The boy Mike working with me. I got some childhood friends that's over there. Like every day we just working and working and working.
And this is crate
And
ball.
this is crate ball, and I'm talking
So you
about
started out as a crate ball legend.
on the crate, man. I was
Wow.
shooting the ball like crazy on the crate. Listen, the only thing about the park was when I came in the house at nighttime, my mom told me to immediately take my clothes off at the door. Man, my sneaks and socks and shorts used to be all dusty and dirty from the park all day long. So that's where I really started at. And then, like I said, when I got to elementary school, I got my fundamentals down a little bit early, so it came a little easy. And like I had like some great years at Smith. My only nemesis over Smith was I never was able to beat like my neighborhood school, which was right down the street from me, McDaniel, because most of my buddies went there. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like they had a super team against me because my team was okay. We was good enough to get to the championship, but we wasn't good enough to beat them in the championship. So like, you know, to this day, like the guys that beat me in the championship, I still love them guys to death.
Got you.
And like after I moved on from Smith, matter of fact, my childhood best friend, the guy named Michael Ice Arthur, was at McDaniel, Orby Green, the White Bishop. Damn, they had so many guys that I was cool with, man. That, you know, like I said, I remember that like it was yesterday. But once I got out of Smith, I moved to I started playing at Thomas Middle School down 9th and Johnson.
Gotcha.
And like it was I had a good team, but it was like more so we played like Orton Reed, a couple Sears and squads like that. Like we would kill all those squads. We had a nice squad. Like we won my 8th grade and my 9th grade year. But like towards my bad, my 7th and my 8th grade year. Towards my 8th grade year, I was messing up in school. So I wound up not being able to finish. So with that, it was almost time for me to I had to get my grades up and I had to get ready for high school soon. So I remember my mom grinding me up because I had transfer papers to start high school at Bartram. But messing around in school, I got suspended. And when it was time for me to take the papers home for my mom to sign, it was around Easter time. So it was like, get your Easter stuff or get your ass whipped. It was like in between. So it was like, you know what, I'm going to wait to add the Easter to tell her. But by the time it was time for me to send the papers in, man, I wound up messing up. And they was like, man, you can't go to Bartram. It's too late. So I had to go to my neighborhood school, which turned out to be Southern. And I ain't going to lie. At that time, I was scared to death to go to Southern, man. Southern was like gladiator school. Every time I turned around, everybody in the neighborhood, they was going to war with everybody. 24th Street was going to war with 5th Street, with 7th Street, with across the UMA, with 13th Street. I'm like, man, I got to be in the middle of this. But like my mother said, it's part of life for you to be on top of the things that you're supposed to be on top of. If you wasn't in there playing and all that, you would be going to school you're supposed to. So you're going to have to deal with it. So when I get to Southern,
your legacy could have been at, sorry to cut you off, but your legacy could have been at Bartram.
Oh, that's what it's supposed to be.
Wow.
But you know, God work in mysterious ways, and I guess it was meant for me to go to Southern because I get there in my 9th grade year and I make the JV team. I got a coach by name.
Real quick. Did they know about you coming in? Did you have a name or no? You just you know, clean slate, just earned your stripes like everybody else.
Yeah, there you go. I just earned my stripes. Okay. And like my mentality was whoever was there, like if they didn't know me, it was gonna know me by the end of the season. That was it. Yeah. But like I got a starting spot like throughout practice and whatever. And I had a good coach, a guy named Fred Campese. And he somewhat, I guess he realized that I got a talented guy with, so I don't really have to hold him back. I can allow him to do some things like without me. Like he gave me a lot of free reign. So, you know, my 9th grade year, we probably lost like 2 games the whole season. the whole season. And the crazy thing was, during my ninth grade year, my man Lou Myers and another guy named Sean Menace was trying their best to get me on varsity. But the coach up there, Miss Snyder, he wasn't having it. He always was with his upper class guys, and he was like, "Nah, he too small. He could wait." So I went through JV or whatever, and I was cool with it. Every now and then we would practice against the varsity guys, and I would show off. But it was here and there. I waited my turn, just kept working all summer or whatever. So I came back my sophomore year, and I made the team. I wanted to be in the sixth man off the bench. And I was cool with that because I was the first one off the bench, but I finished every game. Like, when it was crucial, I was in it. So it was like,
So this was what, 88?
This was 80, 89. 89 was my sophomore year. And it's funny because I was trying my best last night to remember the starting five my sophomore year. I only remember Sean Menace, Lou Myers, Barry Lewis, Arthur Russell. I don't even know who our fifth guy was. But whoever he was, more likely, I came in for him, and I pretty much stayed in. So that was that. And like my sophomore year, I was averaging like 6-7 points. But see, I was just happy to be on the team. I'm like, I'm a 10th grader playing varsity, and I'm playing big minutes. I was cool with that. And it got to the point where, like I said, I had a good season. Playoff time came. I played good against Edison in the playoffs. We played somebody else in the playoffs that I played good against. I want to say Dobbins. They wound up writing an article on me.
Okay.
So and my first article. Huh? Yeah, listen, it was only 2 sophomores the whole entire city that year got articles. Me and Andre Griffin from Gratz, and he was on the stack mob, and so it was a great thing for him, and it was great for me. So it was like the title of my first article was Southern's Latest Nate, like behind Nate Blackwell. Like,
that's major. That's major.
Man, listen, man. When I was growing up, Nate lived like about 3-4 blocks down from me. It was like, and me and his little cousin was super tight, Orby Green. So I would see him all the time. And like he would sit and play with us on the crates and all that. And like I said, watching him play at Temple and all that, I was like, yo, he that work. Yeah. And so, everybody would start comparing me to him.
Wow.
But me, and sometimes I ain't gonna say you got an ego, but then sometimes you be like, you know what? I'm gonna try to be tougher than him.
No doubt.
And that was my mentality when I got to Summer. So with the help of some of my old heads, they pushed me like every summer to work on the stuff that I needed to work on so I could stay on the court and stay out of trouble. So like my 10th grade year, it went fast, but it was long, but it was fast. Like, I enjoyed it with Lou and all them. We made it to the Final Four. We wound up losing.
Public League Final Four?
Yeah. And at this time in the Public League, back in the day when it was Final Four, they would always have you play on a neutral court. So we played Gratz, and we played Gratz at William Penn.
Okay.
And I don't think it's no William Penn no more. But we wound up losing to Aaron McKee, Harry Moore, Bo Thompson. They had these 2 twins called the Patterson twins. Man, these motherfuckers was like termites, man. They was all over the place. And I just never forget that day. The boy Bo Thompson couldn't miss for them, and I'd never forget us. To this day, me and Lou Myers always talk about this. That was the one day I just couldn't make no shots, man. That was probably one of the biggest games, and that was a game like I just couldn't make no shots. So I felt like I was to blame, right? So it seemed like he was a senior, I was going to be a junior, but I think I pushed myself so crazy that summer, playing down the hill, playing in any type of summer league I could to make sure that I wouldn't be in that predicament no more. And the thing was, by playing down the hill, I got my discipline and my focus from Claude Gross and T. Shields. Man, like, when I got down there, it was like everything I was doing was pretty much on my own, at my own pace. Man, they controlled everything, all the narratives down there. Yeah. I never forget coming in there, it was like, they want us to run laps. But first off, before you do any of that, you don't come in there with a jock strap, they smacking you in your head or kicking you in your ass out the door. They're like, get out.
That's the theme. Donnie Carr said the same thing.
What?
I think Sean Coleman
Man,
said it. They talked about that jock strap. You had to have on a jock
what?
strap.
Boy, that was a big thing, man. If you didn't have a jock strap on, boy, you was going to feel it. But the thing was, you come in there, get changed, and Claude and them used to be in this. Claude be smoking cigarettes. So you'll take stuff off like, Claude, how long you want us to run? He'd be like, till I finish this pack of cigarettes. Man, when I sit and say this guy was crazy, man, we like, what? He's like, yeah, till I finish this pack of cigarettes. So his philosophy always was this. I don't care about y'all scoring. I don't care about y'all running up and down the court or whatever. He said, by the end of the season, we're going to be the best in shape team in the league.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the 2 years I played high school with them, we was in the championship. We wore teams down, and that was that. I'm like, when I say in shape, man, we used to run guys like we would run guys so bad that like early on in the second half, guys would pretty much they would just give up. And Claude, when I sit and say he was a historian, and not only that, man, this guy was like, he knew the ins and outs about everything. And he would really look on the court at the other squad and like, yo, that's the wink link right there. We're gonna go at him.
Wow.
We're gonna do this, so we're gonna do that. And like our whole squad, we had, man, I'll say we had like 2 plays, man. We ran 1-4 for a guy who could ISO, or we always ran 2 down the road. Now, once he realized that I could score, man, he would call my number every possession. I'm talking about, he was like, listen, I'm going to stop calling your number when you stop scoring. So if you score 16 straight or 20 straight, I'm going to keep calling your number. So I remember we was playing. I want to say the Chester squad. We was playing somebody, and Chester had a guy who that just came home from jail or whatever, and they was hyping him up. Dude was good. He was definitely good. But I wasn't like, he didn't bother me. So it was like I burnt him a couple times and scored. Sure enough, I try to come down the next play, take a play off. I go in the corner. I let Jake Myers or somebody bring the ball up. And Claude was like, Kareem, 1-4. So he would run. Listen, man, when I was talking about scoring, like this guy was like, listen, you can score. So if you can score every possession, I want you to score every possession.
Yeah.
All that he'll call it time. He will waste a timeout if I pass up. Or if I burn somebody 3 or 4 times, he know I can do it 3 more times. To the point where they bring guys in. I'm like, yo, call a timeout. He's like, nah, hell no. He said they gonna adjust to us. We never gonna adjust to them. Yes. So like I said, my discipline with them down there, man, was like, come to practice on time, respect your peers while you there, play hard, play for your team, none of that selfish crap. And like I said, it was times like we butted heads and stuff like that. But in all honesty, Chief Shields and Claude Gross, man, they helped me out so much, man. I mean, they put things in their proper perspective as far as like, separating me from a lot of other guys, because I remember at one time I had to pick. I made the All-Star team down the hill, and I made the All-Star team for Point Breeze, the league that I played in growing up. So what I wound up doing was playing for Point Breeze up the Conshohocken League.
Gotcha.
Because it was my neighborhood. They was always loyal to me, and that's where I originally started from. Gotcha. So what happened was I'm working the Sunny Hill camps. So we teaching kids, little basic stuff or whatever. We getting a little check, $100 like every week, something like that. So it was Conshohocken time. So I didn't play for the Sunny Hill squad. I wanted to play for Point Breeze. I go to Point Breeze. I score 40. We win. So that's Saturday. That Monday, I go to work down Mary Anderson's in South Philly. Claude tells me, you can't work. I'm like, what you mean? What you mean? He said, you ain't played with us down the Conshohocken. You played with Point Breeze. I was like, I'm trying to explain to him, and my man Arthur Russell trying to explain, like, listen, man, this is who we grew up with. Like, don't get me wrong. this is just one tournament. For the most part, I always played in the Sunny Hill All-Star squad. So we beefing back and forth. So it's like it got to the point where I go home. My mom's like, "Why you home?" I'm like, "You told me I couldn't play." My mom heated. So she go over there and say, "So you telling me my son can't play because he can't work because he didn't play on the squad?" Chloe stuck to his gun like, "Yeah, you can't play." My mom was like, "Fine. He ain't got to play with you when the season start either." So I walked right out of it, right? But the thing was, it bothered Chloe. And Chloe was like, "Yeah, whatever. He ain't got to play. We'll be all right." But the thing was, at that particular time, I was the best player in the city. So how you not going to let me play on the South Philly squad? Some kind of way, it got worked out, and I played. I got back my job. Sonny stepped in. I got back my job. And when the Sunny Hill League started, we wanted to win the championship. It was me, Jeff Myers, Turk Lamont, Lonzo Goldstein, Frank Allen, Tudor, Todd Mason, and we beat Pooh Allen, Shee Wallace, Malik Rose. Yeah, man, we had a classic joint. And we beat them dudes, man. That was like unreal, man. I'm talking about unreal.
And that was indoor or outdoor?
That was down the hill. That was indoor. It was a McGonigal Hall.
McGonigal, dog.
That was a McGonigal.
Oh man.
And the crazy thing was, I was going into my 11th grade year, right? When I'm in my 11th grade year. So it's like, we got a nice squad. We don't have no big men. We got so big men, but we okay. Like we feel we can try to make some noise and make it to the championship, Final Four, something like that.
Hey, real quick thought. Hold that thought. You never did it ever cross your mind? Okay, you supposed to go to Bartram, didn't happen. You at Southern. Freshman, sophomore, did it ever cross your mind that okay, now I can try to transfer out, I can try to go to this school, or you was straight up Southern for life at that point? It's just out of curiosity.
No, man. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. The reason why I sort of kind of thought about it after my 10th grade year when I was averaging 6, and Lou and them was about to leave. But what wound up happening was that same coach, Mitch Snyder, who it was times like if we lost the squads and they was blowing us out. I mean, they would beat us by 20, 30, 20 points, 25 points. If we was blowing somebody out, he wanted to slow the ball down. We'll wind up winning by 6 or 7 like that. So my junior year, came and he retired.
Okay.
When he retired, my JV coach that I had 2 years prior became the head coach.
Gotcha.
I knew right then and there I was gonna have a light. So I was like, there's no way.
Say no more.
Ain't no need of me going nowhere.
No.
And once Campese got me, it was like he built the squad around me. I had the right guys, the right pieces, and I went from averaging 6 to averaging 30. In the summer. So it was like after my junior was going on, like towards the end of the season, like in the middle of the season, I was getting 30 on the record. But towards the end of the season, I started getting like 40, 42, 44, 39, stuff like that, right? Next thing you know, I started getting all these letters from schools. So he pulled me in the office like, yo, you starting to get a lot of mail. I'm like, all right. Then Nike camp call. I was selected to go to Nike camp. Me and Bernard Jones that went to Roman Catholic. We was the only two that year.
Did you know about stuff like that, or was it like, hey, you got this letter from Nike, and then you like, what's this all about, or was you hip, to what was this before social media, before the internet? You know what I mean? So
with me, it was like I was just wrecking. You know what I'm saying? Like I would hear about Nike and stuff like that, but my whole thing was we wasn't no top 10 team in the country. So I'm thinking that stuff is for guys that's on the best squads in the country. You know what I'm saying? But like they say, like with NBA type stuff, if you putting in work somewhere, I don't care if you under a rock, somebody's gonna find you.
100%.
And just so happened, like I said, my junior year, whenever we played we played all the squads in the city, or we had some non-league games, I was putting up numbers against everybody. And then like it carried over into the summertime. So after a while, I guess I started getting a buzz. So when I got the letter, it was like, damn, they recognized me. And then I'm looking at myself like, I'm looking at the camp like, it's only like 50 guys, you know, guys is selected to go to the show. I'm like, damn, I must really be doing something. Yeah. So entering Nike camp, I was ranked like, shit, like 138th in the country.
So how did you know that? I'm gonna keep cutting you off. But how did you know that? Like, because you know nowadays you can go to the internet, see your ranking, and say, how did you know that? Was it like Street and Smith or like what?
Streets and Smith, and they pretty much sent the top like 200 guys a letter with the Nike camp letter.
Okay.
And my coach had highlighted it. So
so you
like, damn, you
get the paperwork that says you know your name, your ranking, in the paperwork. Got you.
Yeah, so I go into the office and I see that I'm ranked number 138. So I told him, I said, I won't be that when I come out of it. I bet you I won't be that when I come out of it.
I know that's right.
So
let's go, Rab.
I was working out, like working on stuff that I needed to work out on, because for up until that point, even though I was scoring points, my whole life I was a point guard. I was a pass first point guard. I just knew how to score.
And how tall were you? How tall were you?
I was like probably like 6'1", 6'1.5". I was wiry. And the thing was, I started scoring because of pretty much two things. One, guys couldn't catch the stuff that I was throwing at. Yeah. So it was like, if you're not prepared for the ball, I gotta score. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the second thing was, after a while, once I got comfortable and got going, I could dictate the pace of a game and just bring guys along with me. Yeah. So when me and Bernard Jones went to Nike camp, right? And it's funny because we was roommates. We became real tight then. And we was sleeping right across the hall from Danny Hurley and Roger Groves. So, you know, we all chopping it up. We looking at our rankings and stuff. So me and Bernard looking like, man, why we in the 130s? And these dudes is like in the 60s or whatever. That's because they went to the school in Jersey with Bobby Hurley and them, and they was right. They was nationally ranked. Got you. So me and Bernard said, like, listen, it don't even make a difference, man. Like, whoever we play against, we gonna smoke. And like I was like, you had to tell me. I'm like, that was my mentality anyway. My whole thing when I got there was they was telling me which thing was the best point guard, Travis Best. Gotcha. So I made sure I found out the schedule and found out what day I was playing him. That's what I wanted to play. So camp was from Monday to Saturday. No, Monday to Sunday. I played him the last day, that Saturday. Wow. Travis Best against And none of my boys came to the camp all week long. Like, I'm calling home, they ask me, I'm doing all right. Like, I feel like I was holding my own or whatever. Bernard in the background, I'm talking about, yo, he killing him. I ain't think about it. So, just so it happened, I'm running layups. We got to play Travis up. And I hear my boy Reef scream my name. Like, yo, Ken, we in the building. So I look up, I see a couple dudes from South Philly. Man, I tore Travis Best ass apart, man. I mean, apart. And like I said, a lot of times, man, it's like guys get hyped because of the schools. Don't get me wrong. I think Oak Hill Academy a great school. I think I see my own eyes. I know Grants is a great school. This Philly bred. But there's a lot of squads that get a lot of hype, and guys don't be as good as they predict them to be. And I'm not saying Travis because he was fast, he was strong, and all that. Like in the year I was there, the main guards was him, Damon Stoudemire, Corey Alexander. The boy went to North Carolina, Donald Williams. Jason Kidd was there as a sophomore, and he was running guys in the hole. I'm talking about he was like the subway. I'm talking about he'd get the ball and go coast to coast. He'd make the right perfect pass and all that. And the thing was, since you playing with the better competition, it made me feel more comfortable. like I really didn't have to score, even though I would probably score 14, 15 points at the point, but I was able to throw loops, do some tricky stuff because I had guys that I knew could catch. Like Chris Webber was there, Glenn Robinson was there, Jalen Rose was there. Like I was there with all the top guys in the country. So
that's crazy, man.
So once I came home, it was like, just say I was after school every day. I was getting mail. I was getting like 6 pieces of mail before I went to camp. When I came back from camp, man, I was getting like 20 pieces of mail every day. And I made sure when I came back, I remember I told you before I went, my coach gave me a letter with the highlight when I was 138. So when I came back, I snuck in his office and put the up-to-date John on his desk, where I was ranked number 36 in the country. So I went from 138 to 36. So that was like my motivation to like, like I'm gonna have a good season going into my senior year. But the craziest thing before I even started the season was it was a guy that my mom was friends with, and he saw me play my junior year. So I just remember him randomly saying to me one day, as he saw me playing the summertime, he's like, you know what, man? You're going to mess around and average 40 this year. So I looked at him, I was like, man, you tripping. That's a lot of points, man.
That's right.
And I ain't trying to be no gunner or nothing like that. But as I started playing in my senior year, I started figuring out that I can get my points in spots. So I already had the mentality to play the point. So my senior year, I wound up playing the 3.
Gotcha.
And that was because I had 2 guys that were smaller than me, Jeff Myers and some guy named Clayton Hayward.
Gotcha.
So the thing was, just say Clayton bring the ball down, Jake bring the ball down, I'll bring the ball down. But it was no matter what, if we got a rebound and we was about to push it, I was to get the ball in the middle of the court and make it happen. So it was like when my senior year came, like we started out, we played a couple preseason games and whatever. So, I think my first game I had like 19. I'm just filling everything out because I'm saying to myself, the pace is slower than it was at Nike camp.
Got you.
And I'm saying to myself, I know my own against the best in the country. So I know I'm about to destroy the city.
Gotcha.
So as it picked up, we had a nice schedule. They put us on the map. We played Grants Denali. We wound up playing Glen Mills. We wound up playing Franklin Learning Center. Who else we played that was good? Somebody else that was good. I want to say Strawberry Mansion, the Dobbins. So when they put us against some of them guys like non-league, I was like, okay, let me see how I go. Now we wound up losing to Franklin Learning Center like our second non-league game of the season. And I had 40.
And who did they have?
They had Ferran Neeballhan, they had Tyrone Weeks, they had Isaiah Russell, Kareem Parker, and they had another guy that played the 2. He wound up getting killed. I want to say his name was Cliff. He was a good dude. Mm-hmm. But like they had showed me where we was at. We wanted to lose it to them 95-90.
And you said you had 40 that game, right?
And I had 40. So the thing was, I just really wanted to have a measuring stick that game. Because I'm like, to me, it was only the 2 best squads in the city to me was Franklin Learning Center and Grants.
Gotcha.
So it was like, if I could do this on them, everybody else is in trouble. So we wound up playing a non-league against Gratz. We lost to Gratz too, of Gratz. I got a guy named Lackey who always sit and tell me they held me to 13 points. But I know I had more than 13 points. I had like 19 or 20, something like that. But here and there, I always give them their props. Cliff Dunn, that was the dude.
Yep.
The dude passed away.
He passed away. Got Cliff Dunn. Rest in peace, Cliff Dunn. Yep.
We wound up losing the Gratz, right? And it was like, damn, they like pretty much designed the defense to slow me down and make my other team beat them. So it was like, I said, this is how the season going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare myself how to beat these double teams, like see plays ahead of time. Don't try to beat squads by myself and all that. So the season started, and that's pretty much what it was. They were sending guys at me. So I'm reading the defense. I'm picking guys apart. I'm throwing layups. Next thing you know, we get on a run. So by me getting everybody involved, now the other team is forced to play regular basketball. They got to guard the rest of these guys. So now you leaving me one-on-one with guys, and I'm going to work. Next, and like, Mom, the one thing I loved about Campese was this. He would tell me before every game, I'm going to let you get your average. But after you get your average, you got to sit down. So at the time, it's funny because I'm saying to myself, like, yo, I'm averaging 40. You sure? So what I would do sometimes, I would drag it out because I just wanted to play. I'll go on a mission where I'm scoring. Next thing you know, I got like 34. I won't shoot for like 2-3 minutes. I'm just down. I'm hot dogging. Then I get my 40. Like, yo, come on out the game. So that was pretty much my senior year.
At what point was that? Would you get your 40 like in the third quarter or somewhere?
Man, it was times I got 4. I might have like 37 at the end of the third, or like I'm close to it, and he'll just say he won't start me the fourth quarter. Then he'll put me in. I'll run another 8-9 points off. Then he's like, come on, man. But like I said, for the most part, he gave me enough freedom. So whenever he did take me out, I never complained. Like I said, he was one of the coolest coaches that you would want to play under. I mean, he would yell at you when you wasn't doing right, but for the most part, if you was doing your thing, he let you do it. So like I said, I love Fred Campese. And not to take away from Mitch Snyder, because he was an old school coach, but it was more so he was perfect for the era before me. Because he didn't like running the score up. He wanted the game to be close. And if we win by 4. But if we lose by 24. So it was like, it was night and day with Campese. Campese was like, listen, y'all blow him out. Like, let's get out of here early. So that was that. So like my senior year, man, like I felt like I was like on top of the world. Like, you know, it was so many great players coming out of the city of Philadelphia in '91 from me, LeVan Austin, Craig Wise, Marvin Stinson. Wallace wasn't coming out, but he was in the league. Meatball. Who else was a guy named Eric White for Bodine? He was putting in work. Dennis Caldwell for Edison. Couple dudes from Strawberry Mansion. We and then I can't forget when we played Glenn Mills, man. Like that Glenn Mills, my senior year, they had Southern, rocking. It felt like a stadium, man. They bought busloads of dudes.
Especially when they bring the student body, they be doing their chants and cheers. Yes.
Man, they had like 3 busloads full of dudes. It was that Southern, man. And when I say it was a classic game, man, because in all honesty, they was the state champs, but we wasn't supposed to really be in that game because we didn't have. But then again, we did have a guy that could go down there with Turk and them, guy named Jawan Campbell. He wound up being ineligible. And I always felt like if he's not ineligible, we in a public league championship. Hands down, because he was a difference maker. He was a rebounder. He blocked shots. And if he was anywhere near the rim and you was behind, he was putting you in the rim with the ball.
No
so he wanted to become.
Is that possibly on film? That Southern.
You know what? Man? I think somebody got that. Somebody has that Glenn Mills Southern game, and I gotta find that. And listen. Anything I can find for you, I will get that.
Round them up, dog. So I can bring them back to life, Rab. Please, man.
Listen, me and Turk might talk about that game a lot, and every time I see Frank Allen, we talk about that game a lot. It's like that was like classic. Wow,
crazy.
Listen, man, it was like playing against Glenn Mills was like playing against a college, man. It was like them dudes was all muscular. They was all football player and we was like scrawny, but it was like we had the heart. We was on right. And between me, Jay Myers, and my man Clayton, and I had another guy named Hassis. I had Ruben Simmons, and I had a guy named Shabib, Anthony Durant, Cash, Mark, my man Herb. Like we had a nice squad where, like I said, if I had to pick out of all the teams in the city, it was only 2 teams better than us. And one of them to me was questionable. And that was like Grass was the best squad. And to me, even though Franklin Lernerson beat us in the Final Four 70-71, it was iffy Annie with them because for us to be shorthanded, They should have. I would if it was me playing against a short-handed team. I'm not letting them beat me.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
we wound up losing to them because they called the N1 for meatball with like, I want to say like about 8 seconds left on the game. So he made the foul shot, put him up 71-70, and we try to inbound the ball. They steal it, and the point guard for them take the ball and just put it on the ground.
Wow.
I run and get the ball and throw the ball from their bench to the opposite end of the court, and I missed the basket by like this much. I'm talking about it rolled in and out the basket and it came out. But
whoa,
that was my senior year, man.
So a lot of people, when I share with the younger generation, it was a guy on a news station, ABC 27 News in the Harrisburg area. On the flyer, I put that you had averaged 41 points a game. Dog, averaging 41 points a game. Talk about that, man. That's crazy, man.
Man, that was like you know what my goal used to be every game, just to score. If I had 15 or maybe 20 at halftime, half the battle I was going to try to get 10 in the third, 10 in the fourth. But it seemed like I said, I pretty much felt once I came from Nike camp, it wasn't nobody stepping in front of me that could stop me. So I could shoot, I could pass, and I can get to the basket when I wanted to, and I could finish. So it was like you pick your poison. You're not backing up off me because I can shoot, and you're not getting up on me because I'm gonna blow past you or dump on you or your big man or whoever there. So that was that.
No doubt.
But like I said, go ahead. No, it was like I mean, a lot of guys can't sit and say they done it. It was a great accomplishment because from my knowledge, ain't nobody done it since I left, and I left in '91.
No doubt. Hey, before we transition and you talk, go somewhere else in your story, I want to go back real quick. First, describe for any young players that are watching this that haven't seen any film, that weren't born back when you was playing. Describe your game from top to bottom. Describe some of the strengths, things you did well. Just the total package of Rab. Describe yourself.
Well, like I said, I started out dribbling the basketball. So the next part added on to my game was being able to dribble and get past people. But in the process, while I'm getting past people, keeping my head up so I can know what other guys at when defenders came at me. So I actually could cut you up like either hand because I could dribble with either one of my hands. And I wasn't one of those guys who dribbled the ball and kept their head down and couldn't see other people, or I was so focused on what I was doing that a guy like, yo, I'm open, but I'm playing and patting with the ball. Like, no, I was like, how they say it, I had the ball on the string. So I pretty much could get to wherever I wanted to on the court and always had good court vision to get guys easier baskets. Or because some guys can't create for themselves, so I incorporated that in my game at an early age. It's just so happened I was put in a position at some places where I was forced to score. And it still didn't make a difference to me because I could score 40 points, but if I got 10 dimes, I would talk about the 10 dimes more than I would talk about the 40 points. And
no doubt.
I'm gonna tell you a real quick story.
Yes, sir.
One day, me and my point guard, a guy named Clayton Howard, we come home from school. Now on Broad and Snyder in South Philly is a newspaper stand. So we're at the newspaper stand. So somebody said, some guy was at the joint. They said, well, yo, Southern plays West Philly tomorrow. And the guy was like, man, I ain't trying to go to that game. Like that dude, Kareem Towns be gunning. Like, I listen. So, I chime in. So my man Clayton is chiming on like, yeah, man. He's like, no, I don't think he'd be gunning. So I said to the guy, he don't know who I am. I was like, yeah, have you ever seen him play? He was like, no. He said, but every time I look in the paper, he got 40. He might got 50. It said, no. I said, but man, you should go check a guy out before you do that. So next thing you know, he was like, you taking up for him. I said, yeah, because I am him. So on everything I love, the next day, the guy came to the school.
Wow. He
watched us play against West Philly. And the thing was, West Philly was ranked higher than us. Like, they put out the rankings every week. They was like ranked fifth in the public league. They had us like ranked number 6. So we was like, man, there's no way they better than us. And don't get me wrong, they had a bomb squad. They had Sean Harvey, Joe Newton, Devin Baker, Roy Lloyd, Gerald Jordan. They had a bomb squad. They came to Southern that next day. Me, Jay Myers, and the rest of my mob beat the crap out of them, man. I mean, not only we blew them out, man. It's like Sean Harvey was known for doing the Jordan, the sideway joint. And he got a breakaway. And I never forget, Jay Myers chased him down and blocked that. So I basically told him, I said, listen, man, we locked all the doors in here. All the outside doors and anything on the court. We ain't having none of that today. So we wound up beating them. We wound up going ahead. We wound up jumping them in the rankings. And it was like, that was like one of my like all around games. I had like 42, like 8 and like 9, and we routed them. It's like, it just goes to show like sometimes like people can't always, how can I say, judge a book by its cover, because anybody, whenever my name come up, is always I score points. But if anybody really know me, they know that I love passing first. If you open, you ain't never gotta say, "Yo, pass the ball, give me the ball." It just was in my DNA. Like, yeah. It just was in my DNA, man. Like I just love passing the ball, man. It just that's just what it was.
Ball, I saw some clips where it was almost like you had eyes in the back of your head. I mean, whoop behind your head and whoop, all that type stuff, man.
Yeah, like how you shouldn't say. I see guys do. I've seen a lot of guys practice over the years. Like me and Aaron McKee we used to talk all the time, right? And I remember one time we had a real deep conversation. He was like, Rab, man, some of the stuff you do, I got to sit in the gym for hours just to get done. And I told him, I said, the flip side of the coin is this. I said, it's like a gift and a curse, because even though I was good, I didn't have to work as hard as other guys. Sometimes, like, as I got older, I'm like, damn, you know what? I think I should have been doing what Aaron was doing, because Aaron would work on a move for 25 minutes straight until he got it down. Now with me, it was like I work on a move for about 5 minutes and I would get it down. Like, sometimes people can do certain things a little bit quicker than other people. And the crazy thing was, when I went to college in the Big Five, they gave me the nickname The Natural, because like everything would naturally come to me. Like I wouldn't have to, I practiced and all like I was supposed to, but like you'll see guys just say do a razzle dazzle move, right? And they'll make a big deal out of it. Gotcha. And I would probably do the same move or something more difficult, and I would just make it look easy. So it was like, like I said, high school was great, man. I mean,
yeah. Hey, real quick, this is the perfect time for us to take a quick break. I see the Instagram, my little clock up here is giving me like a little 2-minute countdown. So what we're going to do is, for everybody listening, everybody watching, this is an amazing audience we have. You are now tuned in to the stories of Kareem Rab Towns. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to just end this one, save it, and then start a new one in like 30 seconds. So just, do the same thing you did earlier. Send me another request. We're going to pick up right where we left off. I want, before we talk about college, though, I just want to go back. And I definitely want to hear some more high school memories, some rivalry games, anything you remember about high school, and then some summer league stuff. We got to talk about some summer league, 16 Susquehanna stuff, all that, and then we'll transition into college and then go wherever you want to go.
All right, bet.
All right, see me right back on the flip side. Everybody come on back. All right, everybody, we back. This is part 2 of the Legends Week interview with my man Kareem Rab Towns. If you were tuned in for the first hour, man, nothing but classic stories, man, classic gems, man. My man Rab is going in, man. I appreciate everybody. We have an amazing audience tonight. Make sure y'all keep it locked, because toward the end, I'm gonna have a nice little Q&A. I see everybody, Tex Mac, my man Duke, everybody, Kevin Slaughter, everybody in here, sharing comments and all that kind of stuff. I'm pinning them, as they go along. When I'm at the very end, you guys save all your questions, because I'm gonna let you guys go. It's gonna be. I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna just let you guys go back and forth with my man Rab. All right. Hey, so picking right up where we left off. So if you can go back for me, just share any, like, some of your most memorable high school games, memorable rivalries, moves, crazy moves, things that had the crowd going crazy. Just any memorable moments from high school.
Well, the thing about the moves is this. I got my goddaughter father, Rodney Westcott, would always tell me this. He was like, early on in my career, he was like, you do so much stuff. At the end of games, you can't remember what you've done.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, what you mean? He said, if you do a couple things a half, just say one this half and one the other half, they're going to talk more about those 2 or 3 moves opposed to you doing 10. So I kind of toned my game down a little bit, got my structure or whatever, but I would pretty much save, like, if it was an ISO me one-on-one with somebody, or once I got in the open court, that's when the behind the back, through the legs, and behind the neck and all that stuff came out. So I understood what he said, so I would start doing that. But it's crazy because that was my natural game. But just say when I get down the hill with T and them, man, Claude and them, they didn't want me doing that, right? But the thing was, I was so good at doing it, it was like they really couldn't say anything. I'm saying to myself, you telling me not to do something, excuse me, but you keep calling my number every possession down. So and my thing is, I was to the point where I would just be experimenting because I knew I could do it. I knew I could dribble well enough whereas though I know a guy wasn't going to take the ball from me. So I tried everything.
Gotcha.
And I had it whereas though I could get away with it, so I would do it.
Yeah.
So I took that from the hill. I went to the pub with it. I did it in some, that's where I started in the schoolyard. So, like, that's where I really started all the tricky stuff. And it goes back to when I was a kid. The guy, Mike Morris, who took me from the block, right, had me doing little things. But then I got cool with a guy named Melvin Hawkins, who used to go to Roman and Fairleigh Dickinson.
Gotcha.
Hot Sauce had a handle. So it was like, I remember seeing them growing up. I was like, man, I got to get my thing straight. Like, I want to have a nice handle. Love Isaiah Thomas. Fell in love with Kenny Anderson. So it was like, I think I can do that. So
100%.
When I was going to schoolyards, I'm working on shots. But if I'm near for 2 hours, I swear for at least an hour and 15 minutes, I was just working on ball hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, in and out, behind the back, through the leg. Whatever it was to make sure that once I got on the court, I wouldn't lose the ball. And the thing was, when I was growing up and they started letting me play with the older guys, the only way I could get on the court was to be the point guard.
Gotcha.
And they trusted in me because the one thing about me growing up was I never turned the ball over.
Okay.
So they always felt like, all right, damn, he might be the smallest guy, but I could give him the ball and go down the court without looking back.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I made sure I had the ball where I needed to go on the court, and I knew who to get the ball to at an early age with the older guys. So when I started playing with guys my peers, it was like a cakewalk, man. It was easy.
So transition. Tell me some of your most memorable high school experiences, like things that you'll never forget.
Shit. I'll give you some numbers. We played West Philly. From my knowledge, this is what they told me. I'm the only person in the public league to ever score over 40 points against West Philly. I'm the only person in the public league to score over 50 points against Overbrook, because whenever you talk Overbrook, it's always Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I'm saying? So Wilt Chamberlain scored points on other squads. Nobody scored it on them.
Gotcha.
So I remember my senior year, I'm putting up these numbers on everybody. And like our rivalry in South Philly is Bach.
Okay.
And I broke the 7 record at Bach, against Bach. I had 59 against them. And it's crazy because 2 weeks prior, when we played Overbrook, and they had Lawrence Pembroke, Malik Rose, Ronald Keenan, my man Wood from out Myers. It was like when I scored the 55 on him, the guy that took me off the step, Mike Morris, said, I've been hearing all this stuff about you. So the day I came to see you play, I'm running layups. So at the end of the game, when I scored the 55, it was like a bittersweet thing. Like, he was like, yo, you got so much better, man. Like, everything they were saying is for real. I got to see it myself. But what's crazy is, that was the sweet part. The bitter part was, my mom comes up to me at the end of the game and was like, listen, you missed the record by 1 point. Now, Lionel had the record of 56 points in one game. I had 55.
Wow.
Then on top of that, I missed my 1,000 point by 1 point. So I was stuck at 999.
Wow.
So they write up. Listen, this is funny. They write an article on me. I'm like, okay. The following week, they write another article on me when I had 42 against West. So the dude Tessellari said, listen, man, you probably the first guy that I wrote an article on 2 weeks in a row. He said, for the most part, guys get articles once a year. He said, but it's becoming hard to not write on you because every time I look up, you doing something that somebody didn't do. So when we played Glen Mills, I think I had like 31 against them, and it was tough. It was a tough 31, but it was a smooth 31 because they was the state champs, and they would, besides, like I said, Grant to somebody, Frank Lerner said they would have ran right through the pub with the squad that they had. So
for sure.
Like Franklin Lerner Center, I scored 40 on them. I set the record on Bach. I had a big game against Glen Mills. Then when we played Dobbins in the playoffs, it was a shootout with me and Marvin Stenson. We wound up putting them out the playoffs. I had like 38, but it was this play that I did that they had on all the stations. But I used to this is the crazy part. We got an outlet, and my man Jay Myers was haul-assing down one side of the court. And another guy named Clayton was haul-assing down the other end. But everybody saw Jay. And the whole time Jay running, I'm looking at Jay. Like, I'm about to come your way. So I throw the ball behind my back, and I like put the ball out to Jay, and I throw it back to my man Clayton, and he laid the ball up. So it's like they kept showing this all day long on every station, right? So I remember the guy, what's his name? Not Yuki Washington. Gary Popper, I think.
Gary Popper.
He was like,
yeah.
Guy was like, oh, that was an awesome move.
Channel 6, right?
Yeah. Guy was like, that was an awesome move, blah, blah, blah. So the guy next to him was like, listen, man, I've been taping this guy all season. He said that's one of his awesome moves. Like, he got so much stuff in the bag, it don't make no sense. So, like, stuff like that. And like I said, in like schoolyards, my whole mentality when I was little was I just always wanted to go to where the competition was.
Yeah. Speaking about competitions, take us down 16th Street, 16th Susquehanna, all that. Talk about some summer league stuff, man. Talk about the summer league stuff, man.
Lou Myers took me down there when I was 16 years old, right? And this is another crazy story. We played for some guy. I forgot this dude's name, man. But we had a big, strong white guy on our squad. They used to call him Dan the Knockout Man because he was fouling motherfuckers. He was damn near knocking guys' heads off. It was me, Lou, him, and a couple other guys, right? And our team, it was like, to me, it was like my NBA because it was the first time I was playing against guys these dudes was looking like they was all college-bound guys, right? And the crowd was crazy. But you know what? It was like, this is what they talking about. And if you want to be good, you got to perform here.
Of course.
Man, it was like, I can't sit and say I was nervous because I really don't get nervous playing basketball, but I was a little jittery because it was the first time, like, being outside of my neighborhood in a hostile environment.
Yes.
But I embraced it, you know what I mean? And I played well. And, like, from 16 to probably I was like 19, I was up there every year, just putting the show on. Now I used to shoot so deep from up there, they start calling me the rifleman. So I come over half court and let it go. But like we would take our South Philly squad up there, me, Jay Myers, Lou Myers, Arthur Russell, Marcus Preston, Juwan Campbell, and we would compete. I mean, we had some big time games, and you know, as usual, they always hype the South Philly, North Philly game up. And, you know, it's always Sad Eyes and my man Mookie Stewart and Ayo, and like they had a nice squad. They definitely had a nice squad, right? But it's like I'll be seeing sometimes or hearing on the internet everybody's comparing me and Sad, right? And this is what I always tell people. Sad was great. Super smooth, laid back, don't do too much talking. And that's where I think me and him are similar. Because in all honesty, man, this is probably the most I've talked in a long time. Like everybody know.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I crack a couple jokes or whatever, but for the most part, like you never hear me on the court. Like I don't talk to the refs, I don't talk to the players. I just when I used to go out there and do my job. But it was like what's sad is like everybody keep trying to pit me and Sad against each other. And I always try to tell people like I don't feel like it's a comparison because one, we wasn't even in the same era. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was to pick a guy and say in the era with me and you compare me to him, I could live with that. But he years older than me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was playing against like my old heads, Robert World Stokes, Jason Waters. I always tell people who I would compare him to. I would always compare him to my old head Jody Johnson from 13th Street in South. He was a schoolyard legend too. And to me, it seemed like their careers pretty much was the same. They dominated, played great at high school. They went to Gloucester. They were super dynamite up 16 for Susquehanna. But I would give the edge to Jody because Jody was a locker. He'll lock you up on defense. His elevation on his jump shot was like Jordan's.
Yeah.
He could finish, and he was super duper smooth, man. I mean, so whenever people talk about the comparison, I always say him. And like another guy like Lionel, man, I learned so much from Train because Train demeanor was the same. Like he didn't have to open his mouth, man. He got the job done. At the end of the game, you could always mark in 20 and 10. He was gonna give you 20 and 10. I don't care who you was, when you was at. Maybe you didn't like how he did it because he wasn't flashy, but guess what? He was reliable, he was durable, and he was dependable. You could depend on him to get his numbers against anybody. So, like I said, growing up, man, the guys that really, I guess, had an impact on my life as far as this basketball stuff was Lionel, Day-Day, Jody. I had another old head. He didn't play basketball, but everybody, if you somebody in South Philly knew who he was. Old head named Hot, James Hudgens.
Gotcha.
When I say like he watched me grow up from a pup to my age now, like I could count on him to give me the real, no matter what. If I was messing up or if I was doing good. If I was doing good, I could do better. You know what I'm saying? If I was messing up, he was on my top. It was like, stay out the streets. You need something, I got you. You need to talk to somebody, come holler at me, because it was like, to all the guys in our neighborhood, he was like they big brother, they uncle, or like they pop. Like in my situation, my father left our house when I was in 6th grade. So I was just left with my mother and my sister. So I didn't have that father figure. So like the guys that I grew up around in the neighborhood pretty much groomed me, you know, kept me on the straight and narrow. Whereas though, like, you know, they kept me out of trouble, kept me away from all the stupid stuff that any typical, you know, teenager could get into. So as I got older, I realized after my sister had my nephew, who she named Kareem, I was like, I got to set an example for him.
Of course.
And then when I saw crazy, he used to be watching me play and coming to my games like, man, I can't be out here, you know, messing up. But in the same breath, I'm human, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Of
Like,
course, yeah.
I make mistakes like anybody else, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I had a perfect Cinderella life because, like I said, I've done some things that I regret. I've done some things that I shouldn't have done, that I learned from later on in life, that I put towards, you know, directly to showing my sons, like, look, this ain't the way to go because I done that, and this ain't right. So, you know, chill out. It was like growing up in my neighborhood, man. It was like, I can't say it wasn't a gift and a curse because I had a great childhood growing up, man. I'm talking about even with being in a single parent home, like, I had so many good friends and good people in my life that always, you know what I mean, led me in the right direction. So it was like pretty much easy. Like, as my mom said, if you want to get somewhere in life, you got to work for it. So that means start with academics, that's staying out of trouble, that's respecting your peers, that's leading by example. Like, she was like, you got to take ownership to everything you do in life. So, like I said, as I got older, it was like pretty much easy for me to stay out the way.
Gotcha.
As you know, I live by that code to this day. I know what lane I need to. I know what lane I need to be in.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never been one of those dudes who want to be flying. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good observer, man. Like, you know, I feel like I'm a good judge of character. Like, even though, like I said, I had some, like anybody. I had friends that was in the street, crazy friends, friends that sold drugs, friends that shot people, that got shot. I mean, what, you know, who don't have it? You know what I'm saying? It's just it's your mindset, what you want to do. If that's the path you want to go down, or if not. You know what I mean? Like, early on in my life, it was like I had no time for that. Like, and my transition from high school to college was like, I ain't gonna sit and say it was like night and day. It just, as far as to me, it was like being stronger. When I got to college, it was like the difference to me was guys were stronger, bigger. You know what I mean? They worked on their games, or, you know, they worked on their bodies. Like, the same guys like I would go dunk on in high school and summer leagues. Like, damn, if I ain't got no strength, that's not gonna work at the next level. So
exactly.
My freshman year, I set out because
real quick before you talk about the LaSalle experience, just tell me real quick, break down for me the whole recruiting, the college recruiting process, and all the other schools that was recruiting you, and then talk about what ultimately led you to LaSalle, and then pick up with LaSalle.
All right. Prior to me going to Nike camp my junior year, I was getting my first ever letter was in 10th grade. I got from Shippensburg.
No doubt.
That was like my pride and joy. Then I started getting stuff from like Duquesne. I got all the Big Fives except Villanova, because they wasn't messing with inner city guys at that time.
Okay.
Maryland, Louisville, Kentucky,
wow.
UCLA,
wow.
Arkansas, Kansas State, Tennessee, who else? USC. Did I get any Big East stuff? I got who in the Big East?
Syracuse, UConn.
I got UConn. I got St. John's. UMass was on me hard. That's when Calipari was the coach there.
Got you.
So, as the thing was with me was, I wanted to go somewhere where I had a good coach that understood me and understood how I played.
Got you.
That had solid big men, because you would definitely need them somewhere down the line, and play a good schedule, because I wanted to be recognized throughout the country.
Of course.
So it came down to really, listen, my mind was set. I was going to UMass because John Calipari, when I sit and say, it was really, before even LaSalle even got on the map, it was like John Calipari and I forgot this guy's name. He had coached LaSalle, but he was this Billy Hahn. He was the coach at Maryland.
Okay.
And he a white guy, right? But he acted like he was black. He was thorough. I remember him coming to see me my junior year, play at the all-public game at Ben Franklin. And I remember him talking to me at the end of the game. So I'm looking at him, because I'm not saying much. I'm just listening, but I'm looking as I'm walking down the street for like 2 seconds. I'm like, is this dude black? Like, he talking so thorough. Like, look, man, we gonna have a program around you, man. Like, you know, you gonna run the show, and like, it's gonna be all about you. So I'm like, okay. So my senior year, he wasn't BSing, man. He was on my line. I talked to him like 3-4 times out the week. I talked to Calipari 3-4 times out of the week. And his assistant coach is my main man, who his father was tight with my father, Bruiser Flint. So I was talking to Bruiser a lot too. So the LaSalle thing came in because the respect and love I have for Lionel. You know what I'm saying? I got cool with Lionel. Then I wound up getting tight with Randy Woods and Doug Overton. And at the time, it was like, okay, LaSalle making some noise. They winning. They playing nationally ranked squads. And, like, they got a good nucleus. But little did I know, you got L Train and you got two typical super-duper Philly guards in Doug Overton and Randy Woods. And that's where I fell in it. But the thing was, when I got to LaSalle, it was like, I didn't have the Lionel with me. They kept recruiting foreign guys.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to stop for a second before I even go to LaSalle. I'm going to tell you how I got to LaSalle.
Got you.
Okay. Maryland and UMass. I eliminated Maryland because at the time they had some guards there. And I was like, all right, them guys is pretty much my class, so there's no need of me going there. So it came down to LaSalle and UMass. Now, they didn't have, either one of them didn't have no guards. Like, so I'm like, damn, I could step in at either one of them. Okay. Now, UMass, they pretty much told me, like, listen, even if you don't get the score, we want you anyway. But then I'm saying to myself, all right, I've been in the house with 2 women my whole life, my mom and my sister. It's the first time I'm going to college. I'm the first person in the family to go to college. So it's like, you know what? I should stay close to home. You know what I mean? Just in case my mom need me, my sister need me, something like that. So that's pretty much what made my decision go to LaSalle. Because if I would have got to 700, if I got to 700, LaSalle would have never saw me, man. I'm telling you, it would have never saw me. So I started my journey at LaSalle with my backcourt mate. He was there the whole 4 years I was there, Paul Burke. Now, for the most part, me and him had a great 4 years at LaSalle. Like, we did everything we needed to, and like we had set goals when we was freshmen of what we was gonna do. We waiting to get big guys. Turk comes over. Turk was great, but it was only one Turk. We had another guy that was a senior named Donnie Shelton. He broke us in. He pretty much let us know, like, look, this is college basketball. Ain't no layup. I don't care if you're a guard or if you're a manager on the team. If you get a chance, they get a breakaway to layup or something like that. Lay the hammer on them. Knock them upside their head. And man, I tell you what, Turk took that. He took that and ran with it. Because, man, we used to sit and watch replays of games before practice, right? And it's times our assistant coach, Joe Mahalik, was like, hold on, stop the tape right there. Stop the tape right there. And he'll go up there and point. And under the court is a guy going for a rebound, and Turk elbowing him in the chest, slapping him in the head. Yo, I'm talking about, we used to be in the back of the room, dying laughing. Then he'll go back and see Donnie. Donnie will let a guy go up. He'd knock him upside his head too. So we'd be in there crying. So I kind of got like the physical part from those guys because they had already let me know, like, listen, man, you're going to score points for us. We're going to do all the dirty work. But in the process of you scoring points, you're going to be getting the hammer laid on you too. So so that's what happened when I got to LaSalle. I had a nice point guard. Turk was there a year with me, and then Donnie Shelton was there a year with me. But Turk wound up getting expelled from the school. Donnie wound up graduating. So it left me and Paul Brooks. So they started recruiting a bunch of foreign guys, man.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong, the foreign guys was nice, like nice people or whatever, but they were soft, man.
Yeah.
Every game I don't care if we played Temple, if we played St. Joe's, or we played Ohio or Arizona, we would always get beat on the boards, man. Every time we played people, because the big guys for the other squad were just too physical for our guys. And it's funny.
There wasn't any other like any other Philly area like bigs that you was trying to pull in, like, yo, you know, my guy from there, or what?
Man, I tried. Listen, when I say I tried everything, and this is crazy. At one time, LaSalle was so, they were so convinced in their head at one time that they was going to get Kobe when I left, that they thought that he was coming to LaSalle because his father was my assistant coach for 2 years. So
Exactly.
Kobe would come up there and work out. I mean,
Okay.
and I always tell people this, man. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was going to be good. I never thought he was going to be as good as he turned out, man. And
Wow.
but to go hand in hand with that, he worked so hard, man. When I sit and say, like, we used to practice, man, he would be on the other court running drills by himself, lifting weights. He'd come work out with us and all that old stuff. And I would sometimes come to practice, I'm tying my sticks, and I see him playing one-on-one with some of the guys that came off the bench, a couple of guys that started, and he used to be killing those dudes. I was like, and Jelly Bean was like, I told you. I was like, yo, man, I could see his development from the year before to now. I'm like, yeah, he getting tough.
That's
so,
right.
you know, he was always one of those guys who would challenge you. So, you know, he got to a point where, like, my junior year, he was like, come on, Rab. So we getting out there playing one-on-one. And I told him, I'm like, listen, man, and I'm going to tell you because I love you. You're my little brother. You good, but you can't fuck with me, man. Not right now. Not right now. So, you know, I'm doing stuff, and I'm like, the stuff I'm doing to him, I'm spinning him around like, yo, man, it's different. Like, the boy, what's the name, said it best. Meek Mill said it best. It's levels to this shit, man.
That's right.
Like, I went through it, so like, I went through it, so I was like, I'm going to take you through it. So
that's right.
I'm working out with him, and the next day we in practice, right? And Jelly Bean to come like, yo, man, Kobe talked about you all last night. All night long. I'm like, he's like, Kareem this, Kareem could do this, Kareem do that. He was like, we looking at exhibition games. He's like, the stuff you do on the exhibition, like, you see that pass? You see how he's shooting? Like, it's like, and that was my man. Like, I mean, that's my guy. And it hurt me to my heart when he passed away. Yeah. But back to what I was saying, like, LaSalle, don't get me wrong, I got a free education. You know what I mean? We played against the top schools in the country. And with me, after my sophomore year, I had averaged 22 my sophomore year. I was ready to transfer. Okay. I was willing to sit out and go to UMass. Okay. Because they still wanted me. Calipari still wanted me. But my Rodney Westcott talked me out of it. He was like, listen, man. He said, don't get me wrong. He said, I know you don't want to hear this. He said, but I feel that you can change everything around here. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, I feel you. I believe I can too. No but I said, man, I can't. I said, this ain't high school no more, man. I said, this ain't high school. I need more help. I said, if anything, like I said, if Turk wouldn't have got expelled and you keep Turk and we go get another solid big man with me and the guy, Paul Burke, I'm like, cool. Because even though we played some of the top-notch squads in the country, man, we was always in games. Like, we were always in games. I never forget, we went out Arizona when they had Damon Stoudemire. They had the guy who was supposed to be a great defensive guy, Reggie Gary, Joseph Blair. They had the skinny dude that played the 3 for him. I forgot his name. But we go up there, and they really supposed to rout us. We playing great the first half. Me and Paul Burke, we got us in the game. Like, yo, all we got to do is keep it close, and we can steal this game. Sure enough, that one of their main big men, he was suspended. And we was getting extra rebounds, extra plays. The beginning of the second half, the big man that was suspended was in uniform.
Wait, I'm like,
what? Come to find out, at the end of the game, they told us that Lou Olson called up the school because he was sick. He wasn't there. He called the assistant coach and said, listen, he got to play. Put him in the game.
Wow.
Man, that motherfucker, he was dominating our big guy. No, he was killing them dudes, man. And me and Paul Burke was killing Reggie Gary and Damon Stoudemire.
Wow.
So, like I said, it always came out of that, man. And it's so crazy because just a week ago, I'm sitting in the house and LaSalle new coach, Ashley Howard.
LaSalle. Yep.
He calls me on the phone. So he like, Rab, I always looked up to you, just that and other. He said, man, I want you to still, to come up LaSalle. You part of the family. Because me personally, once I graduated, it was like, I drifted. Like, I would go up there. Like, I would watch a couple games, and then I'll just disappear, man. Like, I'm alone. Like I said, I grew up in the house with 2 women. So, like, I'm so used to being by myself.
Gotcha.
So, I was like, I appreciate that, man. Like, I definitely will take you up on your offer. And then, like I said, my little brother, Donnie Carr, up there.
Yes,
and then my old head, Horace Owens, was there. So it was like, everybody was like, man, we're going to make sure that, your legacy never dead. He's like, first off, Donnie would always say, first off, you still got records up here. So there's no way we can forget you anyway.
Exactly.
Like, I still hold a record at LaSalle for the most points in the game at 52.
Wow.
So, and I graduated in 95, and nobody ain't break that. Just like you go back to Southern, nobody broke my 59 in 91. So it's like, I got these records in the Big Five and all that. I got the most points as of a 3-year player and all that. But like, people sometimes, how can I say, hold things against you that you can be judgmental to anybody for that matter. Like, because I know people who made a lot of mistakes in life, and I've never held nothing against them. Like, I feel like, you're human. You're going to make mistakes.
That's
so fast forward, just say, and I'm going to come right back to it. Like, after I got out of school and stopped playing overseas, I got arrested, right? Okay, I get arrested. I plead out. I do my time or whatever. So when I come home, for the most part, it's like, just say, how can I sit and say 98% of the city or 98% of the people I know accepted me back with open arms.
100%.
Now the 2%, that didn't was like, I can't sit and say LaSalle because they made a transition from coaches to coaches, but it was like, you can't go without acknowledging what he done while he was here.
Of course.
Even in the Big Five. So, like a couple years ago, my man Marv O'Connor had did something for me where as though he was like, I belonged in the Hall of Fame, and he got my family, friends, or whatever, people to support him, to pretty much like induct me in his own little manner. And I'm like, cool, I appreciate that. It was all love. But what I'll be trying to explain to the people is this. If I'm in LaSalle Hall of Fame, if I'm in the Big Five Hall of Fame, Southern Hall of Fame, all that's good, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Life is bigger than accomplishments and achievements and all that. Like, I love all that stuff. But like I said, at the end of the day, my thing is my peers, the guys that came before me, that paved the way for me, and the guys that I was able to pave the way for them behind me. The thing with me is I felt like if my peers accepted my body of work and all the good things and accomplishments I made in life, and they can deal with me, I'm cool. You ain't never got to put me on record books, because at the end of the day, everybody know where I belong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that's right.
I'm cool with it. And I feel like, in due time, I'll get my turn. Like, I never sweat nothing like that.
But
like,
just like I tell people, the footage speaks for itself. Your legacy speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that were witnesses, they have it up here, and they're never gonna forget that. The people will never forget what you did. That goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? That goes without saying.
What's crazy? What I tell you is crazy is this. Like, I see guys and they be calling, like, I got guys that be calling me and saying, "Oh, look at this list, right?" They'll have the list of, just say, the greatest players that ever come out of Philly. And I'm gonna keep it real. And I see Shee Wallace, Alvin Williams, Lionel Simmons, Doug Overton, Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball. I see all these names, right? I'm always on the list.
Mm-hmm.
He always put me on the list. I'm talking about you could have a 20-year pro career, 8-year pro career, and no matter what, some kind of way I'm on the list. And listen, to me it's like sometimes I'm like, guys looking into it too deep. But I appreciate it because at the end of the day, like I said, I love the game like nobody else did, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I wasn't out there just for myself. I always had in my mind, whenever I stepped on the court, I was going to put a show on. So whoever was there was going to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I said, for me just to be in the same sentence with all the great guys in the city, them talking about I'm the closest thing to Earl of Pearl Monroe and Guy Rogers and all that. Like I said, a lot of guys don't get that praise. And for me to be mentioned with those type guys, it like make me feel good. And I got a guy down South Philly named Willie Williams, Chili Yacht. He always used to tell me, he was like, listen, man, I'd rather come watch you play in a schoolyard game or a high school game because I know what I'm going to get. And I know what I'm going to be able to talk about at the end of the game.
That's
like,
right.
It ain't going to be no dull moment when you get that ball in your hand. So it was like, like I said, basketball to me was like, it was like a savior, man. It kept me out the streets. You know what I'm saying? It got me a free education.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to be the first person in my family to go to college. It allowed me to be the first person in my family to graduate from college. It allowed me to get some money overseas, you know what I mean, for my future. So I would never have to, you know what I mean, ask nobody for nothing. So it's like, I can't complain. Mm-hmm. I mean, do I feel or do I believe I was an NBA player? Without a doubt. Like, man, I done cooked plenty of pros, but sometimes you dealt a different hand. It's the way you play the cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it take me back to LaSalle. Things would have been a lot different at LaSalle, like I said, if we had big guys and just say we made the tournament. Because to me personally, I just wanted to get in the tournament once. All I needed was one time.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the tournament one time, and I'll take care of the rest.
No doubt.
So it was like I'm fighting and fighting and fighting. Everybody in the country know I can play. Now, I'm playing my senior year at LaSalle. I'm averaging 26. And my assistant coach is telling me, listen, man, they constantly coming to these games, watching you play. They calling for you, and all that other stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. By this time, me and what's name was already tight. Me and Eddie Jones was tight.
Gotcha.
So me and Eddie talking like 2-3 times out of the week. He's like, listen, man, I ain't gonna BS you. He was like, the Lakers love you. He said, and more than likely they're gonna draft you because they want you. They like the structure of your body. Like you a big guard, and you can shoot the ball and you can pass. I'm like, all right, cool. So I play my season out or whatever. My senior year, I have a good senior year, first team, everything. I go to Portsmouth. I played 2 nights.
Was that one of the camps?
Yeah, like back in the day, Portsmouth was a main camp, and I want to say, I don't think it was there. I want to say Chicago, but you had
somebody that was on the other night had mentioned them as well. They mentioned Portsmouth, and it was another one, the 2 that you're talking about. The other one,
Portsmouth, I think, was in Virginia, and like my first night at Portsmouth, I had a so-so game. I had like 7 points. I was trying to distribute the ball, whatever. Guys was missing. We lost, and I swear to God, it seemed like that lit a fire on me because I felt like, damn, my stock dropped off of one night. The next night.
Out of curiosity, what do you think Claude would have been saying if he would have been sitting there watching you work out?
He probably would have been like, I'm working on all the wrong shit. And then he would have said it just like that. You working on all the wrong shit. They don't need you to do this. They don't need you. This is what I need you to fucking do. And I'm looking at him like I'm crazy, right? Because I'm not going to say nothing back to him because he know what he's talking about. But while he's saying it, I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But in the same token, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm cool with that. Now, my first night was fucked up. I was pissed. So
Yeah.
my second night, I had like 20, 25. We win. I played great.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still on edge because I'm like, this is the first night.
Yeah.
Now, the first night we lost, I played against a guy named Frankie King.
Okay.
Now draft night come all day long. He's like, yo, my agent at the time, Sal DeFazio, he had me, Eddie Jones, Aaron McKee, Jason Williams, that played with the Sixers and Nets. He had some baseball players. I had my man Sean Harvey. He telling me all day long, yeah, man, I talked to the Lakers. Jerry West said, more likely you're gonna go 38th with the Lakers. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay.
All right, cool. Okay. 38th pick come, they pick the boy Frankie King.
Wow.
So I'm
Wow.
like, fuck. So, okay. I'm like, all right, so hopefully I don't slip through the cracks. Draft continue. I slip through the cracks. I don't get drafted. But I don't get drafted, but then all of a sudden, the Lakers, the Sixers, the Nets, and a couple other squads want me to come to training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, me and my agent narrowed it down, like we might as well go to the Lakers because at the end of the day, they was going to draft you. So obviously they see something that everybody else don't see. Okay. I try out with them, and I go to rookies camp, and they got the guy they drafted, Frankie King. So my whole objective is to go at his neck the whole week we there.
100%.
So we at rookies camp, working drills, playing one-on-one or whatever, and I'm cooking them. So the following week come, the vets come. Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Anthony Pillar, Friday Bebop, Eldon Campbell, Cedric Sabalas, L3, Fred Roberts, they used to play for Boston, and we got what's the coach name? Dale Harris. And Dale Harris is a coach. So playing pickup. I'm killing in pickup. I'm killing to the point where I'm not missing shots and I'm dominant left and right.
To guys that can catch and finish.
Oh man, I'm playing with pros now. This is like now it's coming easy.
That's your speed.
But I'm playing one day, and then my man walking the gym. There's a guy in LA called Buck. He covered the gym, right? And he say to me like, listen, man, let me run the point, and you just get open. Said, I'm gonna make sure you get the ball everywhere you at. Make a long story short, every time I went around the screen, every time I cut through the middle, the ball was there, and I couldn't miss. And it was a reason why I couldn't miss, because the guy who was giving me the ball, Buck, a.k.a. Magic Johnson, gave me the ball every week. He said he was going to get it to me. But I shouldn't say it wasn't a crack that I got through. And when I turned around, it was there. We had conversations and he say like, yo, they talking about you. He said, they talking about you more than they talking about the guy they drafted. I'm like, okay. He's like, just keep it up. Wow. A couple days later, he keeps saying the same thing, like, yo, man, you going to make the team, man.
Wow.
The whole time, preseason come, I'm backing up Nick Van Exel. So I always had these three things I used to always say when I get in the game. I want to make sure my man don't beat me. I want to make sure I score. And most importantly, if I catch somebody on a break, fuck they ankles up. And every game, I would do the same exact thing. I would get somebody every game. Yeah. If it was a rapid out to play, it was a dunk, whatever. We played Dallas one night, and J. Kidd, Jimmy Jackson, and Jamal Mashburn.
Wow.
Like we kept Jason Kidd and Jimmy Jackson in check. Jamal Mashburn was killing Cedric Sabalas. I'm talking about killing him. And I'm talking about they was giving him the ball every possession. He was crossing him up, stepping off him, short, mid-range, blowing past him. Yo, he was super smooth.
Crazy.
I remember somebody went to the basket and somebody blocked the ball out. When they blocked the ball out, I got a breakaway. It's me on Jimmy Jackson. But I knew somebody was trailing me. So I go up. I know he about to try to block because I'm small. I wrap it behind my neck. My man laid the ball up, right? So I'm like, okay, damn, I got my pass off. You know, I said, I got 3 things to do. A couple plays later, I get J Kidd on the baseline. I spin off on the baseline, and I dunk. I said, damn, I'm feeling pretty good. And the thing was, after we played them, we played Houston. I played good against Houston, Kenny Smith and them. Then we played, what's the guy that got killed? Played for the Hornets, Bobby Fields. Bobby Fields, and there's another guy, a little ball-head guard that used to shoot for the Hornets back in the day. Larry Johnson was on the squad too. I killed him. So now it's like I'm saying to myself, oh, I'm gonna make the team. I knew I was gonna make the team. All of a sudden, so many things started going wrong. Not with me, but with the team. Eddie Jones tears.
Hey, real quick, if we can. I don't want it to, because you're about to get into some heat. I don't want it to end on us again, and I have to cut you off. So I'm gonna just end it real quick. If you just pause right there, and then we're gonna pick right back up, finish this out, and then we'll be closing out soon. All right.
All right, good.
Just come right back. Hey, everybody. This is Kareem Rab Towns, legendary stories, man. I'm gonna just save this one, and we're gonna come right back. So everybody, come right back in the live. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is part 3 of a classic interview with my man Kareem Rab Towns, man. Southern High School in Philly, LaSalle University, man. Super legend, man. He's your favorite legend's favorite legend, man. That's my man Kareem Rab Towns. We're gonna be wrapping up pretty soon. So I appreciate everybody that's locked in with us tonight, man. Just make sure y'all keep it locked, because in a few seconds, a few more minutes, we're gonna have a nice little Q&A and let Rab go back and forth with the people. All right, so we good. No more interruptions. We good. We good on time. We good. So
I'm about to close up.
Yeah, no. We good. So pick up right where you left off. You said so things that started to go bad. So
yeah, the thing started going left was this. The whole time in training camp, like rookies camp and veterans camp, I'm playing great because I'm really playing my natural position. I'm playing a point.
Gotcha.
And it's good, from what I'm hearing, it's good to be a big guard that can see over little guards and can get yours when you want to.
Of course.
Now, I'm just doing what I'm doing naturally. What happens is Eddie tears his thumb up. He breaks his thumb. That's one downfall. So Anthony Pillar messes his shoulder up. Pulls his shoulder out of the socket. So what that did was, the guards at the time, the point guards, was me. It was Nick Van Exel, old head Sadell 3, me, and the boy Frankie King. But they didn't trust Frankie King, so what they did was they knew what they was getting out of me, so they was like, well, damn, if we can keep him on the court, we're going to keep him on the court. So I was taller than Frankie King, so what they did was slid me to the 2.
Okay.
And I mean, I didn't mind, because it was like I just wanted to be on the court no matter what. But to me, I felt like at that particular time, it was my downfall, because I went from guard, point guards, to now I'm playing bigger, stronger dudes, man. Like, these dudes was like way stronger than me. Now, it's like it took away from my effectiveness, because I didn't have the ball in my hand no more.
Gotcha.
I was doing a little bit more standing around looking, because now I'm just standing and hoping, or waiting for Nick or Sadell 3 to kick me the ball, and I'm like, man, this ain't me. I like to go left to right. Like, I like to make it happen.
Exactly.
So
you the general. You the facilitator.
So now, on top of that, right, is like they got all these guaranteed contracts. Everybody got a guaranteed contract. Even the guy who got drafted, even though they only signed him for 1 year. I talked to Jerry West. So, he pulled me and he was like, listen, he was like, you outperform the guy that we drafted. He said, but us as an organization, if we draft somebody, for the most part, we loyal to them. So I'm like, listen, I understand what you're saying. I respect that. So they didn't want to cut me. So they was like, well, we're going to release you, but we want you to go play for our like how it is now, the G League squads. They wanted me to play for a squad in San Diego, California. It was the CBA.
Mm-hmm.
So I go down there. I go down there and play in the CBA, right? So there's another guy on the squad named that was on the Lakers squad that I forgot the Michigan guy named Anthony Pig Miller.
Okay.
Now I'm keeping in contact with him because he was like, "Yo, man, they still talking about you here. You where you at?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, bucking them running around, which is magic, saying, "We got rid of the wrong guy because the guy they drafted didn't play the whole season, and when he got in the game, he was scary. He playing scared."
Oh my gosh. So you got Magic Johnson saying, "Yo, y'all got rid of the wrong guy."
So the thing is this. So it's like we while I'm playing over there, I'm killing in the CBA. The best two rookies in the CBA is me and a boy that played for he went to Minnesota, if I'm mistaken, and he went to Miami, Rashard Leonard. Me and Rashard Leonard killing the CBA. We killing all the rookies. Now the only thing that went bad near was we playing in this big arena. We playing in the old arena that the San Diego Clippers used to play in. But ain't nobody coming to the games. Like we might have like about 35 people at the games. Now the very first game I played there, I hit a buzzer beater and won the game for us. Now I'm averaging like 22. So what happened is the owner losing money, so they dispersed the squad. So they have like an open draft where they sending guys everywhere. So I go from going to practice every day with Nike shower shoes and shorts and stuff like that. They send me to the Yakima, which is in San Diego, Washington. It where it rained every day. It was freezing every day. Man, I'm going to practice in Tim's, down coats, Scully's. It's freezing there.
Crazy, man.
I finished the season out there. I make the all-rookie team or whatever. The following year, it was like the Nets had wanted me to come try out for them because Calipari had got there.
Okay.
Now, I go and try out for them. I'm playing well. I messed my foot up. So when I messed my foot up, I had to sit out. And in the process, it slowed everything down. So what me and my agent said, well, this is what we're going to do. You get offers from overseas, so just play overseas and try the following year. Now I go overseas. I go to the same place that Sean Coulson went to, Caserta in Italy.
Got you.
And then in the league that I was in, I was over there on my squad. The American guy on my squad was Derek Petit. He went to Temple. His brother Tony Petit played for the Sixers. Went to Texas Tech.
Yep.
So me and Derek there all season long. We turned the whole organization around.
Wow.
Now, I go over there. I'm leading the league in scoring and assists.
Wow.
I'm in the state.
What was the assist and what was the points?
I was averaging 30 and 12 overseas. So I go over there. I'm doing that. It took me, no lie, it took me 2 weeks, man. Like over there, you know how over here we got Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated at one time used to come out every week. Now their Sports Illustrated over there had me in the joint every week. I was in there every week. And next thing you know, I go to practice one day and we see this big truck, Reeboks, right? So I'm not thinking nothing of it. They was like, "Yo, we coming for Kareem." So I'm like, "What they coming for me for?" So they're like, "Listen, we want to sign you to a contract." First time I ever signed a sneaker deal. I signed a sneaker contract for a year because that's why I had a year deal. So when I sit and say they laced me, man, I was getting boxes and boxes of Reebok stuff every month. I was just sending it away, giving it to my boys or whatever, stuff like that.
Crazy.
Now, crazy thing about the Reeboks is, as I'm gonna go back to what I was telling you about my old head that when I needed advice, Hot. Yeah. He hated Reeboks. He was like, "Yo, don't bring no Reeboks, don't give me no Reeboks." So even though I still was playing ball, I still was getting other sneaks. So I was giving him all my Nikes. He was like, "Keep the Reeboks." So anyway, I go through my season, and the guys in our league was me, Derek Petit, Brian Oliver that played at Georgia Tech with Kenny Anderson, Mike Mitchell that played back in the day with George Gervin, Jonathan Haynes. Jonathan Haynes was out there. He was balling. He was killing out there. And a couple other guys, I think from Jersey or whatever. So everything was cool with overseas, but people don't know that you hear all the great stories, but me and Derek went through a situation where they paying us on time. Like we get over there early from August to like after Christmas. We getting paid on time. 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month. First of the month.
Wow.
No problem.
That's
We
awesome.
winning. We winning. Man, we start losing games at the January. Now instead of getting 10 grand, they give you 7. Then they want to give you 5. Well, we're gonna give it to you on the next check. So I told them, I'm like, listen, man, I don't live here. I got a son at home that I gotta take care of. I got a mother, sister, I got people that depend on me. I'm like, I can't be playing like that. So Derek, he like, man, he didn't care. So what he was doing was taking a little money they give him, and he would just go to them and borrow money. Because they would just take it out of his check anyway. I'm like, I ain't borrowing shit. I want what I'm earning, like what I earn. So, and my thing is, I had to stand because I was, if not the best player, I was probably top 3, 4 in the league. So I was like, I had a stress fracture in my foot, and then sometimes I would take a little shot to numb it so I could play. After a while, I was like, man, I'm not doing that shit no more. Not while they're not paying me my money. So what they would do is they'd gather the money up. I'll play, put a show on. Next thing you know, next month, they pulling this shit again. So we telling our agent, like, listen, man, I can't keep going through this. So what wound up happening was we got down to like the final 4. We could go to the championship. And I remember us playing, we was away. We win the game, we go to the championship. By this time, man, me and Derek was so fed up with them. We was like, we not going to win this game, man. Like, we not going to win this game. Now, we go in there, he not making shit, and he fouling everybody. So he fouls out and leave me out there by myself. I'm out there still killing. But it was like they was tripling and double teaming me. Like, you know, over there, like, they don't call no calls, man. You could jab step and you jab step and make a move, they call a walk. Like, yo, that's not a walk. Like you walk when you don't put the ball down. Like, I'm throwing the ball down first. But like we so more advanced, and with them is they're so fundamentally sound. Everything with them is they gonna do the fundamentals. With us, they feel like we too flashy. But anyway, we wind up losing the game, right? Okay. So they talking about next year and all this stuff. Me and Derek like, man, we ain't saying nothing because we already got our bags packed at the house. Now, in the process, while we was there, we had met some guy who had owned a rotisserie spot. His family like took us in, like, you know, they was always come to the game, support us. We can go to the rotisserie spot, get whatever we want. Man, we had to pick us up like 6 o'clock in the morning. We had tickets ready to get out of there, man. We wound up having to sue the team to get our money. So they wound up owing me like 30 grand, right? They wound up settling.
That had accumulated.
Yeah. So instead of them giving me my 30 grand, they wound up giving me like 19,000. I'm like, fuck it, I'll take it. I'm gonna play somewhere else and get some more money. Derek, on the other hand, they owed him some money, right? They wound up sending Derek, and I laughed so hard, man. They wound up sending Derek a check for like $3,500. I was like, yo, all them times you kept going in talking about give me 2 grand and give me 3 grand, they got your ass back at the end. So transition, that summer I played down the hill, Baker League, whatever, I get off in that. I wound up going over.
Was your foot cool? Was your foot okay?
Yeah, my foot was cool. My foot. Okay. I just needed rest. It was like, because it was in the middle of my foot. It was like, it was cool, but I wasn't trying to kill myself over there, especially when they wasn't paying me. So the following year, I go over Greece, and I'm balling over Greece, and I wound up playing on the same team with another guy from South Philly, my old head, Mike Richmond. He from down Fifth Street. He went to UTEP with what's my man name? Tim Hardaway. Okay. So, and Mike been over there for years. I mean, years and years. So he could speak the language and everything. So what wound up happening was you normally have 2 Americans, but Mike been over there so long, he had a Greece passport.
Gotcha.
So he was still there. So here we go again. Season good, everything going on. These motherfuckers start playing with the money too. So before they even started that shit, I told my agent, I said, I'm going home. I said, it's nothing going to get no better because they feel like because we all way over there, they can drag this along all year long. I'm like, I don't want to keep playing places where at the end of the season, I don't put my all into the season, then I gotta sue these people. So I wound up leaving. And around that time, my girlfriend at the time was about to have my second son. My mom, my father had passed away, so like, you know what, I'm gonna just take a year off and make sure my family and everybody's straight. I did that, got everybody in order, and went and played 2 more years over there. And after that, I was done, like overseas. Then I came home, dibbled and dabbled in the street a little bit. That's when I wound up getting arrested. Got sentenced to 120 months in jail in the feds.
Wow.
Did my time in the feds.
Like how much time did you actually, were you away?
Out of like 120 is 10 years, but out of the 10 years I did close to like 8.5 years. And it's crazy because I seen a lot of basketball players growing up at camps and stuff. Man, there's so many bad motherfuckers in jail in New Orleans and Houston and New York. Locked up guys like, got the typical story, like, they wasn't as blessed as me as far as like, going to school and getting an education, getting a college degree or a diploma or set records, but they was neighborhood legends of schoolyard. Oh man, I played against some of the best guys ever, man. Like I got so much respect for you.
Stay there for a second and tell me a couple stories just about that experience, if you don't mind.
Well, the first place I started up, I was at Allenwood Low up in White Deer, Pennsylvania, and I remember playing against some guys from Baltimore, and there was a guy I was cool with named Kareem that was from New York. So,
hey, real quick, sorry to keep cutting you off. Did they know who you were, or that it was that?
I mean,
it didn't matter, or they were like, I think you the boy from LaSalle, or nothing like that.
Man, they knew, because when you come on the compound, your name is like on the list. So they just so happened when I came on the compound, basketball was starting.
Okay.
I got out the hole because I was in a hole for like a week. When I got out the hole, I get to my bunk. I put my stuff in my bed. Guy come to me like, yo, man, what's up? I'm like, what's up? Like, yo, they talking about you. I'm like, I don't know nobody here. like they know you. So it was an old head that was from DC that I got cool with quick. He like, listen, man, I got a squad. Do you want to play? I'm like, I'll play. They laced me. They gave me 2 pairs of sneakers. They gave me everything I needed. So I'm out there playing against the guys in Baltimore, and I'm wheeling and dealing. I'm wheeling and dealing. But it's good competition, physical. Yes. So I remember a guy from New York named Kareem come to me like, listen, man. He said, I like you and I respect you a lot. He said, but you ain't gonna be able to play ball your whole bid. I'm like, what you mean? He said, niggas is crazy, man. He said, they gonna try to hurt you, man. The stuff you doing out here, like you not like deliberately trying to make guys fall or going at guys. He's like, you just playing your game. You got a smooth game. I'm like, cool.
So you in there getting ankles and all that kind of stuff. Embarrassing guys, hurting their pride.
He made me realize, like, damn, man, like in jail is like, you got to play smarter basketball, because one move to the basket, dude gonna low bridge you, flip you over. They don't care. Like, first off, especially if a dude got 20 years, like I ain't gonna get in no trouble. All they gonna say is we was out there playing basketball. Yeah. So, I start pulling up. When I get a chance to dunk, I dunk, do my little moves or whatever. So that was pretty much my bid until my last 2 years. My last 2 years, I stopped playing basketball. I would just go out and jog every day, and I was like coaching like the guys like in my unit. Because the difference between the feds and the state is this. If you going home on Monday and the day is Tuesday, but you go home on Monday and you break your leg, you can't leave until that cast is off and you heal. I seen guys about to go home, just say a guy about to go home on a Monday, he breaks his leg on Friday, he got to go home 2 months from now. So I'm like, no, I ain't. Like, I don't put in enough time. I put in enough time that I'm like, I'm not staying here. There's no way y'all gonna keep me here.
Sprain no ankles or nothing.
Man, the closest thing I came to being physical in jail, when it was time for me, before I go, I was walking the track or jogging the track, or I would be in this class with a guy. He was down with the Fugees, a guy named John Forte.
John Forte, yeah.
That's my guy, man. He taught me how to jump rope.
With John Forte.
Man, John's my guy, man. John taught me how to jump rope, man. He taught me how to jump rope. And like I just Instagrammed him like 2 weeks ago, because he had put something on about one of his new songs. And I was like, man, I'm still jumping rope to this day.
Wow.
Like John taught me how to jump rope. So that was my workout. jogging and jumping rope and staying out of the way. Then when it's time, when they let me go, I was like, man, I ain't never coming back to that place. That was in 2010. So like I said, my life journey was like some highs and some lows, but for the most part, I can always say I lived a great life, man. Like, you know, my mistake getting caught up in the streets, I would never point the finger on nobody. I would never say I got in trouble because that person did this or that person did that. I knew what I was getting into before I got into it. And at the end of the day, it was like, you know, I mean, I'm from South Philly, man. Like at the end of the day, I like, you know, we gonna stand on what we do. You know, I accepted my punishment, you know, without like doing what most guys do when things get rough, telling on somebody or snitching on somebody. Like I've never got to worry about walking down the street, looking over my shoulders, being scared that somebody gonna blow my head off or hurt me or something like that, because I did my time like a man. So it's nothing to brag about, but I feel good inside to say that, like I said, I can walk around without, you know, worrying about somebody doing something to me. And it just goes to show, like I said, like the youth nowadays, right now, the stuff that I see with all this shooting and all this killing and stuff, guys really, to me, need to listen to their peers, listen to their old heads, the guys who went through this stuff prior to them. Because if you listen to the right people, right, there's no way that you can go on the same path that they went in. There's no way somebody that knew the type of life I had, knew the type of career I had, should ever fall into the selling drugs or getting locked up if I'm telling you not to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I lived it, and believe me, you could deal with it, but in the same breath, like I said, when you go away, you hurt so many other people. Like I said, I was more so hurt from my mother, my sister, my son, like my close family members, because I was the breadwinner in the family. I mean, I'm the one that, even though I was the youngest in the family, I was the one who set the tone and was the one who, how can I say, was the guy that was going to figure it out for everybody in the house, household, or in the family. So, like I said, it helped me, it matured me to the point where, like I said, when I was away, I would call home just to check on my mom, check on my family, all my buddies and whatever. Like I said, I got true friends that rode the bit out with me, that's still my friends to this day. And even the people who shot away, I have no hard feelings towards them, because at the end of the day, none of them ain't owe me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like they helped me, you know what I'm saying, with showing me if they was really my friend or not. Because like I said, if I consider you my friend to the end.
Got you. Hey, couple more questions, man. Then because we got a great audience. I want to give you some chance, give you a chance to interact with the people, but just kind of reflect over your entire basketball journey. I mean, you played ball at a high level all your life. You know, your personal life was what it was, but what have you learned from what has the game of basketball taught you? What has this journey taught you when you reflect on your life and do those it kind of go with within yourself?
Well, with me, I look at it like this. I was a skinny kid coming out of South Philly that had an opportunity, and I took full advantage of it. Like I said, early on, I listened to all my peers. I worked my butt off. I wasn't one of those guys who liked basketball. I love basketball. That's all I did. Like, my life was based around basketball. It was starting on the crates, just playing curveball or whatever. At the end of the day, it's like you have to put in the basketball what you want to come out of basketball. And if that means you got to take 4 or 5 hours out of the day to work out, lift weights, run, jog, take those shots that you don't want to take when you're tired, that's what you got to do. See, nowadays it's like YouTube and so much internet stuff, guys take the shortcuts. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to go back to prehistoric days and do it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Like, sacrifice. My thing is, everybody who make it to the next level at one way or the other, sacrifice. They done something or gave up something that they wasn't supposed, that they didn't want to give up. You know what I'm saying? That's partying, that's getting high, that's drinking, that's hanging out with their buddies or whatever. Like I said, you're going to take yourself as far as you can go by you maximizing your potential.
Got you, got you. Another thing, I don't, just from hearing you talk, I know that you seem like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you seem like the type of person that, doesn't have regrets. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like to use the word regrets, because I believe
Mhm.
everything happens for a reason. Your path is your path. So I kind of
Yep.
like to phrase it as this: if you had the opportunity to go back, like, one of my favorite 80s movies, Back to the Future, Marty McFly,
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
had the opportunity to get into a DeLorean and go back and spend some time with 17-year-old Kareem Rab Towns, you're sitting down with him, what would you tell him?
Well, first off, I would tell him, get in the weight room.
No doubt.
like, yeah, listen, your talent can take you but so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing, like back in the day, was I was give or take, say I was ahead of my time, man. Like, as far as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old Kareem, I was doing stuff that grown men wasn't doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys that I know was working hours in the gym, I didn't have to do that. Like,
Got you.
I don't care how hard you work, I still was gonna come in your gym, you was gonna come in my gym and get 40. Period.
Got you. Got you.
And that wasn't just in my neighborhood. That was wherever I went at.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably tell myself, like, listen, man, focus more on your body, focus more on like your diet, stay out the streets,
Mm-hmm.
um, hone yourself more on academics, because that's one thing I never really expressed. Like, when I was at Severn, like, Severn, don't get me wrong, man. Severn was a good school, but Severn really didn't prepare me or most of the people that come out of Severn for college, because
Got you.
we was an inner
Got
city school, which was just get through the school and get a job. You know what I'm
you.
saying?
Uh-huh.
Just so happened, like I said, I put myself in a position to get an education, a free education. And the thing was, I never forget my freshman year at LaSalle. My first semester, man, I had 6 classes, man. I had 4 D's, I had a C, and I had 1B. I
Wow.
never forget, I had an assistant coach named Randy Monroe. And he walked me to one of my teachers' class, right? And he was like, you got to do something, man. You got to pick it up, right? And I'm like, man, I said, this is a hell of an adjustment. I was like, man, no disrespect to Severn, but they ain't get me prepared for this. So I never forget walking from the class with Randy Monroe. We walking from the class on campus and about to go back to my dorm room, and like, I just started crying. He's like, what's wrong? He's like, man, you'll be all right. I'm like, man, listen, it ain't even about me, man. It's like, I don't want to let my mother down, man. I'm like, I'm the first one in my family, and I want to be the first person in my family to graduate. And I
Wow.
swear, from that day forward, I started doing extra work. Summertime, I was taking classes when I didn't even have to take classes to get
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
my senior year came, I really didn't even have a second semester. I had pretty much
Wow.
put myself in position to graduate my first semester, because what I would do in the summertime, instead of taking 2 classes, I would take 4 classes. I would take early in summertime, and I would take 2 before. So
Got
my senior year came, from my freshman year to my senior year, my GPA went up every year.
you.
So I graduated with a 3.2, and
Yeah, let's
with,
go.
with, with a degree in criminal justice of all things.
How
But
ironic.
one thing they can't do, they can't never take it away. They can't take it away from me. I'm in the books. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I did my 4 years of college, and I was able to give my degree to my mother.
No doubt. That's a blessing, man. Hey, well, that's pretty much that. I think we'll end there, man, because I want to give you some time to go back and forth with the people a little bit. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
say, Rab, I want to let you know now, man. I cannot express enough how thankful I am for you to, sit down, and just, learning your personality from this 2 hours. You talked about you being a loner, kind of behind the scenes, and you said it yourself. You don't know the last time you've ever talked this much. You know what I'm saying?
No, no,
So
no.
thank you so much, man, just
Oh, I
for
talk.
being
Listen,
transparent.
today I talked enough today for the week, man. I'm cool. I ain't really got to say nothing the
You
rest
met
of
your
the week.
quota. You met your
So
quota.
listen, so if anybody that I'm cool with, y'all ain't even gotta talk to me. Y'all just text me. I'll text y'all all week long.
But thank you, man, for being so transparent. Thank you for your time, man.
No doubt, no
This,
doubt.
like all you guys, man, you, Sean Colson, Flip Murray, Donnie Carr, all you guys, man, have done so much for me through this, because I love this with a passion, man. I'm on my journey as well. You know, I have my past, and this is where I currently am, but I have so many goals and objectives, and this is definitely one of them, man. So thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you for
No
being a
doubt.
part of
No
Legends
doubt.
Week. And
No
just
doubt.
thank you so much, man. It's just,
Look,
this is off, this is, believe it or not, this is something off of my bucket list, because I had heard about you so much. So for me to be
that's
sitting
what's
here
up.
with you dialoguing like this, man, it's such a blessing, man. So thank you so much. I can't
Man, listen,
thank you enough, man.
like I said, me personally, I don't do too many interviews. I mean, guys call me and ask me questions or whatever, or when I see guys in person, you know, I give them a couple one-word answers or whatever. But I really was looking forward to this. And then, like I said, my little brother, Donnie Carr, like, let me know, like, listen, man, dude been looking for you. So, like, it's no way you can't do it. And then, like I said, I did my own homework, and I checked you out, and I seen everything that you was doing. Everything was positive. And I started, like I said, I fell in love with the interviews, man. So I'm like, you know, hopefully my time gonna come. And just so happened I got the call.
That's a blessing, man. Hey, so listen, people, now it's y'all time. I don't want to hold my man Rab Towns all night, but if you start typing some questions. Oh, I see. Oh, listen, check it out real quick. We got a lot of legends in the building. We just got my man Chuck Baruch. If you see that, Chuck Baruch too. He was at Glen Mills, coached at Glen Mills, basketball historian. I mean, he knows everything about basketball. So, yo, Chuck, if you got any questions for my man Kareem Rab Towns, anything about Glen Mills, start typing. So anybody got any questions, start typing your questions in the comment section for Rab, and he's gonna answer them as they come along.
Somebody just asked me who was my team when I scored 73 points. Only person I remember on that team was Lou Myers that day. I don't know who else was on our team.
Somebody else, but 2024 said, what's your memory about 29th and Wharton Dream Team?
Man, we used to run through stuff. Oh, we used to run through stuff. Yo, our coach, I was booked with my man Don Barry. I remember winning the championship. We was drinking champagne like we was in the NBA or something.
No doubt, no doubt. How many shots did you miss against us in that 59-point game? One or two? Big D's 53-53 said.
probably about 3 or 4 D's.
Duval Simmons said, Rab, your knowledge of the game should be passed on to these young fellas. Share your knowledge. It gets a comment, you know, for you to share your knowledge, if you don't already, to the younger generation. I guess encouraging you to, you know, any opportunity you get to, you know, impart with young people.
Every chance.
Let me see what else we got here. 4-key scheme. Best basketball memory.
Yo, man, you know who that is, man? That's my son.
No, that's your boy. That's what's up. All right, come on, give
you know what?
Listen,
I'm gonna answer that. You know what my best basketball memory is? The night I scored 37 down Sunny Hill, right?
Yes.
Now I come home ready to get ready for high school. No, get ready for school. I'm with my man Arthur Russell, and he drops me off because I ain't got a car. And before he gets to the corner of my block, I'm jumping in the middle of the street in my shorts. I ain't got no sneakers. I'm screaming, yo, come back. He drive around the block like, what's up? I'm like, yo, I'm about to have my baby. I need you to take me to the hospital. Kareem. He runs me to the hospital, and I have my son. That's one of my best.
That's dope, man. I mean, you can't top that, man. Best basketball memory ever right there. Let me see. I got a question for you. A big thing right now is you know, what do you think about some of the top black basketball players going to HBCUs? That's kind of the wave, and that's kind of what everybody's talking about. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, like I said, man, if you good, man, I don't care where you at. They gonna find you. The thing with like, is a guy, what's his name? Maker. He going to Howard now.
Yep.
Okay. The thing with that is this is my only thing about that. It's cool to go to that school, but you can't go by yourself because what they're going to do is gear up against you. Now, if you go in there with a couple other nice guys, you could turn that whole thing around. I mean, but for the most part, guys not going to want to, guys want to go big time. Guys want to go to Kentucky. Guys want to go to Duke and all of those stuff. But I don't see nothing wrong with going to no black schools because, like I said, some of the best players come from Weber State. My man's Flip come from Shaw.
Yeah.
So like, you can be found wherever, man.
Yep. Facts. Keith 219 wants to know, two-part question. First part is top 5 players you played against in Philly. That's the first part.
Top 5 players I played against. Now the question with that is it my era or just period?
I think period. First, I don't know. However you want to answer it.
All right, this is what I'll do. I'm gonna say top 5 guys I think I played against.
No. I think he's talking about in your era because the second
All
part
right.
of the question is top 5 players you ever saw. Let me see, and top 5 players you ever saw after you in Philly. So yeah, talk about top 5 in your era. Then after.
All right, top 5 guys in my era, and I'm gonna say these guys because a couple of these guys people don't acknowledge, but I knew they was good. Craig Wise, Ty Mason. Jerome Pooh Allen, Levan Austin. Oh, how can I put my little brother, Sean Red Smith. Reds was good, man. To be his age, he was good. And Jeff Myers, for sure. Jeff was one of the guys, man, like, if I was to sit and say, got me ready and made my job easy, because he was probably by far one of the best defenders in the city. And in my era, defensive guys, Aaron McKee, Aaron McKee, Pooh Allen, and the boy that went to Bartram named Jamal Green. They all got me ready to serve whoever got in front of me, because them guys they made me work.
I know that's right. The other part of that question was not necessarily that you played against, but just some of the players that you respected and that you was feeling after that was after your years.
Definitely Rashid. She Wallace was tough, super tough. Cat Mobley, my man. Al. Who else? I got a guy, man, like the young boy now, Lil Tone Carr.
Yes.
I love Lil Tone Carr game.
For real, yes.
I love Lil Tone Carr game. I don't know the guy, EJ Newbill or whatever.
Yep, Newbill, yep.
EJ Newbill, he was. I've been peeping him. He tough, but for real, and I just started following this guy the other day. I've been hearing about him because guys always sit and say he the closest thing to Rab. I always hear this stuff. They was telling me about the boy Brandon Austin. I thought he was tough, but the boy I just started following the other day, some young boy named Wooker or something like that.
That's not seem popular from yeah. Wooker's nice.
Yo, he that work. He that work.
No doubt. So tell me what you like about him. Tell me what you saw. Just kind of break the game down.
Well, what I like about him is I like his size. Like, for him to be, I guess, becoming a senior, he got a nice structure because all he's gonna do is fill out. He not short. You know what I mean? He gonna get a little taller. He gonna get a little stronger. He athletic. He can shoot, and he definitely can finish. And from what I seen this past year, shit, he a winner. He won everything.
Yep.
So, what more can you ask? I mean, right now he's a college coach dream. Believe me, he going big time.
No doubt.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna cut you off. Go ahead.
He's the next big thing to come out of Philly.
No doubt. Somebody else wants to know. What do you think about the young boy Jig coming from the recruit from Coatesville that's going to LaSalle? Have you seen him? Any clips of him at all?
I only seen a couple clips of him. But from what I'm saying, he can look like he the goods. Like, I think he's gonna be good. He's gonna definitely fit in with LaSalle. They got a good coach, and the coach gonna put him in a good position to succeed. So I think he'll be fine.
Got you. One thing real quick. Oh, did you play ball? Like, after you did your bid when you came home, was you still active? Wrecking? Like, did you jump right back on the scene in the leagues and all that kind of stuff? What was your career after that?
I scored 73 when I came home.
Oh, so you was fresh out the box, and that's when you scored the 73.
Yeah, I scored that. Yeah, I scored 73. I mean, I still play to this day. But see, this is what I tell people this all the time, and I got a good friend named Tony Carr's father, Big Tony.
Big Tone.
Me and
Yep,
talk all the time. I always try to tell people this. What I used to do, I don't do no more. I don't even try to do no more. So if I'm on a squad, just say I'm gonna use Little Tone Car and I'm gonna use the kid Wooga right now, for example. Say I'm playing with them, right? I'm gonna let them do them. I'm gonna adjust my game to them. They don't have to adjust their game to me. See, the thing is, when guys get older, they feel like, well, what I used to could do, I still can do. No, you can't. You're not as young as you used to be.
That's right.
So what you got to do is make adjustments. So like I said, now that I still be playing, it's like I can play because I adjust to the time of the game. The game ain't the 90s no more. It ain't the early 2000s. It's a new era. So I respect this new era. I let those guys be great. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I can do with them is help them become better. You know what I mean? By honing their skills, by giving them little pointers here. Like if I see a guy do something that, say, an extra dribble that he don't need, or instead of going all the way to the basket to get a charge, pull up. Like, let's make your job easier, and in the process, making your job easier, we're gonna make you better. So that's pretty much where I am with the new guys.
Gotcha. You have a lot of knowledge, man. You're very, super articulate, a lot of knowledge. You learn from some of the best, Claude and those guys. Would you ever consider coaching? Have you coached or would you consider coaching, from little league, high school or college coaching in the future?
If the opportunity presents itself, I wouldn't turn it down. But if I had my choice, I would prefer to coach younger guys, because if anything, I want to groom them, because it's a little easier to groom a kid than somebody a little older. Because don't get me wrong, I mean, guys understand the game and they play, but in the same breath, some guys think they know more than what they know. So I'd rather get somebody fresh who really don't know much that I can groom. You know what I'm saying? They can learn. We could pretty much learn from one another.
Got you. I appreciate that. That's pretty much it, man. That's all I have, unless anybody has another question. But it seems like it's pretty much everybody tapped out.
I see this one guy ask something about my quarterback.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because I'm a Packers fan. That's my young boy Kyle.
Why you rank so low on Madden?
Listen, I would really love to know who his quarterback is. Put that up there.
That's right.
But listen, Star, on some real, Star, man, how can I say it? I'm humbly, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm gonna continue supporting you any way possible. You got my number. You ain't gotta go through Donnie. You ain't gotta go through nobody to get in contact with me, man. You can call me direct. I'm a phone call away. Whenever you need me, bro, come speak to kids, to come show up at a game. I'm there. Believe me.
Say no more.
Major love. Trust me. You definitely putting your thing on the map. And like I said, this is definitely a legendary spot for me. I appreciate you, man.
No doubt. Hey, one last thing. What was I about to say? I'm gonna definitely see if you can try to work up some film. I be hearing a lot about Mr. Bill, who had all the footage or whatever, or just different people like that.
I give my man Kevin Slaughter, because Kevin Slaughter he got more access to the film than I do. I'll definitely
work up anything, man, because I definitely got to try to bring some of that stuff back to life and get it up on YouTube, my website, and all that kind of stuff. And
listen, man, I know for a fact, like most of the time you in the shows or whatever, I don't normally gotta say nothing to nobody, but I want to shout a couple people out just because I see them jump on this joint, like all my old heads who supported me from when I was a kid to now. They're still giving me fatherly advice and brotherly advice. I appreciate all y'all. I definitely appreciate my mom, my sister, my wife, my kids, like everybody who helped me along my journey and continue to help me daily. I appreciate them. And everybody. I mean, it's not a guy. I'll be here all day long if I didn't shout my South Philly guys out. I love I love the P to death.
No doubt. That's what I was about to say, man. You were what I've been hearing, man. You were like to South Philly. You had like a cult following down there, man.
You know, my man
Shout out,
Reef
talk
Reef
about
and
South Philly, man.
my man Reef and Chilliwack started that, man. Like, I don't care where I was at, man. Like, they would always support me, and it's crazy because I see my man Tex been on here today. I love him to death. And Big D's, I remember playing bot, and I never forget. Like, I came out and hit my first like 3 threes, and I remember Jody Johnson saying to my man Reef was like, "Yo, is he gonna miss?" Jody was like, "He ain't gonna miss today." And that was like, that was the biggest thing I ever played in South Philly. Today, huh? and listen, that's on one of the tapes that I definitely got to get, and you'll be able to hear it for yourself. But like you said, I'm gonna make sure that I jump on getting all that material for you because there's a lot out there.
Please, I appreciate it. Hey, we're gonna end with this. When I put up that flyer I sent to you, just to, advertising for the day.
Yeah.
I put it up on Instagram and I put it on Facebook, and then once people saw that you were tonight's guest, people started commenting. So we're gonna close out like this. I'm gonna just read you some of the comments from some of the people when they heard that you was gonna be the guest on Legends Week. All right.
All right. Cool.
Okay. My man Ray Carroll from Chester, class of '95. Ray Carroll says, "Wow. Salute to one of the best guards I ever laid eyes on. Big star, you making legendary moves." That was Ray Carroll.
Okay.
Chaz Franklin says, "Stop playing, man. This is about to be crazy. Growing up in South Philly, Rab had a cult following. He was the gold standard." Jamar Solo Shaw, younger brother of Zane Shaw from Chester, says that man was legit. This is funny. My man James Nelson Stewart, he said the first guard I had to guard when I was playing in Sunny Hill. He hit me with a combination that would have made Mike Tyson blush. And then he also said he made my knees sing like Patti LaBelle a couple times. Zane Shaw said that was a bad man. And my man Mike Jordan said, let me pull up a chair for this one. Rab, one of my all-time favorite Philly hoopers. He would literally give you 40 without breaking a sweat. He was smooth. That was how smooth he was. And
MJ,
MJ.
That was my guy.
My man Damon Turbin from ABC 27 News out in the Harrisburg area. He was shocked that he said 41 points per game. What? Like, he was just shocked at hearing that you averaged 41 in high school. And lastly, guy by the name of Naeem said Rab was Jordan in South Philly when I grew up. So homage paid to Kareem.
Yeah,
Rab,
definitely.
man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the love. I definitely do.
Thank you for this opportunity to help to solidify your legacy, man. I appreciate you. So lastly, this full interview is going to be up on my YouTube channel probably tomorrow. I'm gonna send you the link so you can share it, and it's on YouTube forever, man.
Cool. Definitely,
all
bro.
Right.
Appreciate
God bless
man.
you. God bless your family, man, and I'll be crossing paths with you soon, Rab.
Same to you, man. Love you to death. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
I will do. Thank you. Oh, if you got any more legends, man, if you text me some names of people I need to link up with, man.
Say no more. I'm about to think of some right now for you.
Please believe it. I appreciate it. Just send me a list and I'll get on it.
Got you.
All right, Rab.
All right, sir.